My amplified unit, the day is finally upon us, Royal Rumble Sunday, and I can think of no better way to start this day off than with an amplified podcast, the biggest we've ever done, the longest video we've ever had on this channel, 3 hours long, guys. We have a Scene 1 coming up that has the entire Royal Rumble preview. We have Scene 2, which is going to feature the entire NXT show from last night in a full TakeOver Phoenix review. And Scene 3, Amplified Q&A, returns to the channel, and I'm going to answer over, guys. We're not over. We're just going to try to hit 100 of the Amplified Unit's questions. That's right. Am I going to be able to do such? Am I going to be able to fit it in 3 hours? We're going to find out. But I'm going to attempt to answer 100 of your guys' questions in the return of the Amplified Q&A later in this podcast. And again, that's all wrapped around the Royal Rumble preview and the NXT TakeOver Phoenix review. That's all coming up in this podcast. So you know how I like to start these podcasts off, guys, with the opening credits, which is basically just a bunch of rapid-fire news stories within the pro wrestling world. However, because there's so much podcast show to go, 3 hours long, I'm going to keep this really short. And some of the big, more polarizing stories coming out of the wrestling world this week, I want to start with Roman Reigns. Everyone's wondering how he's doing, and we're only getting little tidbits here and there from some of his superstar friends, right? Jericho a little bit here, Seth Rollins says a little bit here, but it's all the same stuff. Oh, he's in good spirits. He's looking and sounding good. But then The Rock posts something over on Instagram, and he's side by side with Roman Reigns, and they're filming a movie, Hobbs and Shaw. Roman Reigns is in The Rock's new movie, the new Hobbs movie, which is a spin-off of Fast and Furious. And everyone's like, what the And now everyone's starting to think, wait, was this all storyline? Guys, this isn't storyline. This is real life, I assure you. But what that tells me is that Roman Reigns is doing a lot better than any of us even imagined. That is awesome. That's really cool, and that's badass. It was so cool to see that photo, man. I mean, he's looking like Roman Reigns. He even looks like he maybe put on some weight. He's looking even better now. So that was really cool to see, man. And again, all the speculation started to fly, but you can put that to rest. Roman Reigns is able to do these things, and that's awesome. I just don't think he was able to be on the road 300 days out of the year right now with WWE. And if that's the case, then he didn't want to just do this half-ass. He's like Ronda Rousey, where they presented Rousey with a Brock Lesnar type deal, and she was like, no, I want to do this full-time, or as full as I can, because Ronda Rousey does movies as well, and extracurricular activities. But she said, whenever I can, I want to be in that ring. I want to be in front of the crowd. Well, that's kind of how Roman Reigns did it. Roman said, I don't want to be just showing up here and there, or a part-timer. It's full-time or nothing. So I think it's awesome he's doing this movie with The Rock, man, and keeping his mind and his just everything, man, his psyche in good spirits. I think that's badass. That was such a good photo to see. And in his time off, he's going The Rock and John Cena route, and he's doing some movies. Good for him. Does he have the charisma to pull it off? The chutzpah? The gusto? We'll find out in the new Hobbs movie, but that was huge news, man. It even caught the Amplified man as a shocker, because we've been seeing some photos at events with him and fans, but nothing like this. I can tell you from firsthand experience, I've done movies, guys, and these are just some scenes in movies that I've done, and they are excruciatingly long. A lot goes into it. You're in hair and makeup for a couple of hours. Then you go and film for 10 to 14 hours, and then you go back to wardrobe, hair, and makeup, and you do the fucking end process. The day can be up to 17 to 19 hours long during a normal film day. So, more power to Roman Reigns. Again, we wish Joe nothing but the best. Much love and respect. That was awesome. I mentioned Ronda Rousey, and she's another polarizing story this week, where people are coming out now and saying she's leaving WWE after WrestleMania, but that's a bunch of BS. Everybody knows she's in this for the long haul. That's from her own words, and she is committed to this. And everybody took this interview that she did several months ago where she said that soon her and Travis, her husband, want to start a family. So now everybody knows that she's most likely going to lose the strap at WrestleMania or by WrestleMania. And they think, that's it, Ronda's had enough with WWE, and just like everyone else, she's going to leave. So everybody's acting like a 10-year-old child that thinks somebody's going to leave their home. No! She might go away for a few months to take a little vacay, to take a breath, but hasn't she earned that? She transitioned from one sport to the next, learned it as fast as she did, far exceeded everybody's expectations. You have to at least admit that. Whether you love her, hate her, like her, don't like her, you have to admit she far exceeded your expectations. She kicked ass this whole year. Everything that was asked of her, she delivered. And again, she could have had the Brock Lesnar deal. She could have just showed up at pay-per-views and a couple of Raws a month, maybe, if even, collected the same amount of pay, got the glorification, and went about her way. She said to Vince and Triple H, no, I'm in this for the long haul. I want to be in front of every audience that I can be in. She's not even showing up just at every Raw. She's showing up at live event house shows, guys. And you're telling me after a whole year of never doing things like this in UFC or any time in her life, she hasn't earned a few months off? And even if she wanted to have a kid, she hasn't earned 9 months to a year to have a kid? WWE honors that all the time. They just did it with Maria Kanellis. They're going to do it with Lana. And Lana will be back afterwards. Ronda hasn't earned that? And she'll be back. She'll fulfill the rest of her 3-year contract, which will at that point, even if she has a kid after WrestleMania, she'll still have a year at least left. And then she's going to re-up her contract. Maybe not as full-time, but she's going to stay with WWE now forever. That is part of her life and her family now. And I love the response she gave to, who was it, TMZ? She took offense to people saying she was leaving after WrestleMania, and she gave an awesome response. I'm not going to reiterate it, but she basically said, I treat the WWE like my... Let's just think of her private parts, right? And she said, I treat WWE like that. Why would I ever leave that or put that in question? So she's saying she's going nowhere. And again, she might take a month or two, maybe, to take a breath and spend some time with her husband and family and whatever she wants to do. I feel she earned that. Look what she already gave us. She said, no, I don't want to be like Brock Lesnar in that schedule, man. I'm going to give more. And she's given so much over this year. Relax. Give her a few months off. You can't win with people sometimes. They claim and they cry that she's hogging all the spotlight and the championships and she's taking spots from actual wrestlers. And then when she wants to leave for a few months to take a breath, oh, now she's leaving. See, she was never committed. Bogus. You can't make people happy all the time. It's insane, man. So my theory is I never try to make people fucking happy. And if they are, then I far exceeded their expectations. Go Amplified Man. What else is in the news, guys? Everyone thinks Kenny Omega's showing up tonight for the Royal Rumble. He's going to be the biggest surprise. I have my doubts, man. Everything I'm hearing is he is absolutely signing with AEW after New Japan Pro Wrestling's contract expires at the end of this month. However, anything can happen in the pro wrestling world. So I can't look at people saying Omega's showing up tonight and say, you're absolutely wrong and you're an idiot to think so. No! He could absolutely. It's the pro wrestling business. Who the heck knows, man? What else do we have, guys? How about Daniel Bryan? I love this. This guy is going out in every interview, even if it's just local news stations. You know, the little townies that have their little local news program. Daniel Bryan just did one where he basically called out UFC champion Henry Cejudo. And he basically, Henry met Nikki Bella on a flight, and he was wowed and wooed by her. He just fell in love with Nikki Bella, right? And he left some great comments on his social media about thanking Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella returned a message through Instagram, I believe, telling Henry that, hey, next time I'm in town, maybe I can give you some Bella Radici wine, and maybe you can teach me some new moves. So, Nikki Bella's flirting right back. And Daniel Bryan on a local newscast, this is where characters usually come out of their character, and they're usually just whoever's playing the wrestler, right? So Big Show is going to be Paul White. Kane, if he's on this new show program doing an interview, he's going to be Glenn Jacobs. Undertaker, he'll be Mark Calloway. Daniel Bryan is Daniel Bryan. He's not Bryan Danielson in these interviews. He's staying in kayfabe. He stays in character, and that's what I love, and that's what I'm going to speak more about later on in this podcast. But Daniel Bryan basically calls out Henry Cejudo, and he basically is saying, you want to ask out and try to woo my sister-in-law? Well, how about you try to step into my world, and you have to earn your way? I love what Daniel Bryan is doing. He's taking a moment in an interview where he should just be out of character, and he's challenging UFC champions, Henry Cejudo, and who the heck knows who else. Conor McGregor might be next. I'm loving what Daniel Bryan's doing, man. It's not just that. That's just one thing, guys. And you want to talk to my sister-in-law, you basically got to come through me. I love that. And again, this was for a local newscast in whatever town they were in. Maybe it was after SmackDown. And he's so in character. I saw this a month ago, a couple weeks ago at least. He was with WWE.com. And it was just something that not a lot of people are going to see. And he cut one of his best promos I've ever seen him cut. Talking about how social media is the devil and this generation is making the world go to hell. And I love it, man. I love what I'm seeing from Daniel Bryan, and that's a big news story to come out within this weekend. Obviously, I don't think he's really wanting to fight Henry Cejudo, but it's a fun way to give this banter back and forth and really create this larger-than-life character that I'm always talking about. That's how you start. When you really live it. When you think of the larger-than-life characters that we grew up with, who are they, guys? It's usually characters that kind of lived the character because that's who they were. It was themselves with the volume turned up to 10. Those are the ones that captivate us. Daniel Bryan's not the biggest dude, but damn, when he lives that character, it's captivating, man. There's a lot more we could talk about in opening credits, but there's just way so much more show. Is that even a phrase? Way so much more? Well, there is way so much more show to go. So I'm going to have to end opening credits so we can start the show. I hope you guys enjoy it, man. We're going nearly 3 hours, if not 3 hours, maybe even more than 3 hours. And we're going to start it right now with Scene 1. It's Royal Rumble time. Here's the official preview. Scene 1, Take 1. The Royal Rumble preview. Action! Alright guys, so there's a lot to get to in this year's Royal Rumble preview, so I want to get right into it, and I want to kick off. And speaking of kickoff, if you're new to the channel, I do not include preview matches, kickoff show matches into the amplified preview. I'll go over the matches as far as what's announced, but I will not talk about them in detail because there's just too much actual main show to talk about. So, for the kickoff, what is slated as of the making of this video for the Royal Rumble kickoff, guys, it is Rusev the champion taking on challenger Shinsuke Nakamura, and there is also slated to be a Cruiserweight Championship match as well, taking place at the Royal Rumble kickoff show in Phoenix. So, again, we're not going to go in detail in those matches because those are kickoff show matches. It sucks for wrestlers like Shinsuke and even Rusev, and some would say the Cruiserweights deserve better than the kickoff show, but no matter what side of the fence you're on, I'd agree with you for the most part. You know, people like Shinsuke and Rusev, you could say they earn their spot. It always sucks to be on the kickoff show. You could also look at it as, at least I'm on the show. If you're asking the Amplified man, I'd rather not be on the show at all if I'm going to be on the kickoff show. That just seems so, such a kick in the balls. It seems like such a kick in the face. How's that? Sorry, ladies. It's a kick in the face. It really is, man. It's a spit in the face if you think about it. I don't know. That's how I think about it. What do you guys think, man? There's a whole comment section down below. I mean, would you rather be on the show, even if it is the kickoff, Or would you, if you knew you were going to be on the kickoff, just say, you know what, keep me out? It's an interesting debate, right? It's an interesting topic to think about. I always look at it as kind of embarrassing. I don't fucking know. It's like you're preheating the oven for the actual main course meal, you know what I mean? Well, what the fuck are you, an appetizer? Anyway, let's, I said I wasn't going to talk about the kickoff show. I'm talking more about the kickoff show than the matches. We'll start with the men's Royal Rumble, guys. And this is, these are the announced participants as of press time. This list is as of Friday afternoon. So any other names that you have heard of came out after Friday afternoon. Because this is the latest updated list that I have received. And it goes a little something like this. I just want to run down these names, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion and thought of them actually winning this son of a bitch. I'll start with the 19th guy. And by the way, this might be 18 because John Cena is one of these names, and we're hearing that he is out as of press time, as we've probably already talked about. But John Cena doesn't look like or maybe he's going to be a surprise entrant. Who the fuck knows? But I'm going to take him out of this list. So that leaves 18 names. And I want to start off with Titus O'Neil. That's right. The betting odds have to be in Vegas, all for Titus O'Neil winning this thing. How can anybody bet against Titus O'Neil? Just kidding. A little bit of hint of sarcasm there, guys. Titus O'Neil, the only thing that could make this wildly entertaining is if Titus O'Neil comes flying down the rampway and trips and slides right underneath the ring. Not getting hurt, of course. We don't want to see anyone get hurt. But we want some comedy. Let's do another take of Titus O'Neil flying like the greatest Royal Rumble. I can't laugh again like that, man. Me and Corey Graves, we were laughing all night, I'm sure. When the greatest Royal Rumble went off the air, Titus O'Neil was still stuck in our minds, flying underneath the ring. Anyway, that's the only thing that could captivate us with Titus O'Neil in the Royal Rumble, let's be honest. 18th guy there, we'll go, or 17th, however you want to, because John Cena's out. I guess there's 17 guys left. Andrade Cien Almas. He is officially in the Royal Rumble. Listen, I would love to see Andrade Cien Almas get such an achievement, but Vince will never allow that to happen. I assure you. Almas versus Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles for the championship at WrestleMania could be captivating if the storyline was done correctly. I just don't see Vince actually giving Andrade Cien Almas the time of day. He's giving him a little push as of late, but that push isn't going to be a Royal Rumble victory, I assure you. So I'm not going to get my hopes up with Andrade. Apollo Crews. Enough said. No, I'm playing. We love Apollo Crews, but I don't see him there. Nor should he be getting that type of push. Out of nowhere, out of obscurity, losing to Bobby Lashley left and right, and now all of a sudden he's going to win a Royal Rumble? I'm not buying that shit. Jinder Mahal. I'm actually a Jinder Mahal fan. I'll be the first to say, not going to happen, nor should it happen. Sorry, Jinder, we love you. Okay, I do anyway, man. I'm a Jinder fan. Baron Corbin. This is something Vince McMahon would actually do, so I'm not going to go on any longer on this. This should not happen in any which way you can think of, any possibility you can think of, any scenario you can come up with. Baron Corbin should not be winning the Royal Rumble. Again, it's something Vince would do, so I'm just going to shut the fuck up about it and hope I never have to speak about that again. Elias. That would be too good to be true. That would mean you have to actually book Elias as a superstar, which he should have been all along, but something Vince McMahon refuses to do. Elias is below 50-50 booking at this point. Sorry, Elias. I don't see that happening. Again, John Cena looks like he is out. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is one of the biggest threats in the Royal Rumble. That being said, that's probably and most likely going to mean he is not going to win this son of a bitch. Usually the biggest threats, like the Big Shows or the Kanes, those type of guys, or the Braun Strowmans, usually those are the guys that don't end up winning this thing. Samoa Joe, at least, though, the past several weeks, he's been built up again to be a monster, a beast of sorts. That's always a plus and a positive to see, because Samoa Joe has been lost in translation, lost in obscurity since he debuted, really. A couple of meaningful feuds, and then he dips right back into obscurity. So at least the build for Samoa Joe to the Rumble has been pretty epic for him. I don't see any way he's winning this thing, though, unfortunately. But that's alright, because if he mixes it up with Randy Orton headed toward WrestleMania, heel versus heel versus vicious heel, that would be badass, man. That's take my money type shit. Bobby Lashley, again, this is something Vince could do. I'm hoping it doesn't go that way. But Vince could see big money in Lashley versus Lesnar. If it's two guys literally beating the shit out of each other, like MMA guy versus MMA guy, because Lashley did dip his toes in some MMA, maybe man, I don't know about that, man. Lashley still needs a lot of building to his character and his reputation in WWE before I can even look at him as someone taking on Brock Lesnar. And I don't think they would go Bobby Lashley versus Styles or Bryan. I don't know. Again, this is something Vince could do, though, like Baron Corbin, you know? I wouldn't put it past him. Dean Ambrose. He's an official name in the Rumble. Listen, a lot of people would feel Dean Ambrose is deserving of it, no question. But so far, this heel run by Dean Ambrose has been a complete flop. I don't think anybody expected this to happen. I thought Dean Ambrose could play any character, could play any scenario off without a hitch. It's not going so well. So do you double down and have him win the Rumble? I'm not seeing that, man. Jeff Hardy would be a fan favorite type of a moment, but not somebody we want to see in the main event or one of the main events, I don't believe, right? Jeff Hardy versus Brock Lesnar? Hardy versus Styles would be good. Hardy versus Bryan would be good, but not captivating enough. I think Jeff Hardy is too far along in his career. He needs meaningful storylines, but that doesn't mean the icing on the cake. He doesn't need to be the cherry on the top, which is the main events at WrestleMania. Some might agree. The fans that love Jeff Hardy, I bet, are saying I want to see Hardy win. I'm just not seeing it. Seth Rollins. I think he's the fan favorite in this whole Rumble so far because the list is not that impressive. My issue with this is, and if you guys have caught podcasts in the past of mine on Sundays, you guys know I talk a lot about 50-50 booking, and one of the biggest casualties of 50-50 booking has been Seth Rollins. To a T. I showed you guys, what was it, last week? Or 2 weeks ago, I believe, on that podcast. It was the 50-50 booking podcast. I believe that was 2 weeks ago. I showed you guys the actual booking by month, week to week, for 2 straight months of how they booked Seth Rollins on television, and he was exactly 4-4, 4 wins, 4 losses, exactly 50-50 booking. I just don't see how this guy is supposed to captivate us and make us believe that he's larger than life and that he's the guy that's going to take on Brock. Because you know he's not going to challenge AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan. But AJ Styles couldn't get it done against Brock. Daniel Bryan couldn't get it done against Brock. Finn Balor's probably not going to get it done against Brock. But it's Seth Rollins? Roman Reigns, time after time, couldn't get it done against Brock. Finally he did. But Rollins is just going to waltz into WrestleMania and, man, we love Seth Rollins, but I just feel there needs to be a bigger star, man. This company is lacking star power. Larger-than-life superstars. Seth Rollins might be the best they got, and he might be the one to take it all. That might be the best options over in Vegas, man. That's probably where all the money is at. Rey Mysterio, just like Jeff Hardy, a fan favorite, no doubt. It would be a fan favorite in a kick-ass moment. But then, you're setting up Rey Mysterio to be in the main event for a championship at WrestleMania 35. Is it time maybe to let some of the younger guys... I mean, Brock Lesnar isn't exactly a spring chicken. Daniel... I don't know, man. Rey Mysterio... I don't see him doing this, man. That would be a lot of stock in Rey Mysterio for Vince McMahon to give him that type of win, victory. That's believing that Rey Mysterio not only can still give it a go 100% night after night, week after week, month after month through WrestleMania, but that's also giving it that this Guy who's not a spring chicken. He's been around. He's had a lot of injuries. That's hoping that he doesn't have another injury through WrestleMania. It's putting a lot of stock in Mysterio, man. Xavier Woods. I'll pass. I do want to see the New Day split up and everyone go their single ways and let's really see what they have. Do they have a character outside of the goofiness and silliness of the New Day? But that doesn't mean you give Xavier Woods a Royal Rumble victory. Kofi Kingston. That would be fun, man. If anybody deserves it, it would be him. But then how do you build... I mean, wow. You would have to do that brilliantly. The storylines in the feud that he is in would have to be epic. And who do you really have Kofi Kingston take on? AJ? Daniel Bryan? Definitely not Brock. We're not going to believe that shit. But Daniel Bryan and AJ, maybe. Whoever comes out with that championship. But that's something you could see on a SmackDown main event. Or beginning a SmackDown show. I don't think Kofi Kingston winning a Royal Rumble match is in the cards anytime soon. Or ever. But I do want to see if Kofi Kingston can keep his feet off the ground. He always comes up with an interesting way every year. It should be interesting this year. Big E. Let me tell you guys, if there is one New Day member where I would be shocked and actually okay with him winning the Rumble, it would be Big E. Because I've said for the longest time, this guy needs to branch off on his own, separate from Xavier and Kofi, and start a singles run for the ages. Because I think Big E has so much stored up inside that he can unleash. And he's just, I feel he's held down in this New Day gimmick. Don't get me wrong, he's made a ton of money. He's made a name for himself. They're relevant in these New Day characters. But I think New Day, Big E has so much more to offer. In so many different sides of his character. It's so versatile. And we're not being able to see it because he's held down after all these years. I think it's okay to separate them. That being said, I don't see it happening. Sorry, Big E. But I would be on board with it. Drew McIntyre is another name that a lot of people are saying, hey, he could win the Rumble and he could be the one to take on Brock Lesnar. Could be cool. The problem with that is we're seeing Drew McIntyre losing every other week on Raw. 50-50 booking. So even if he wins the Rumble, I'm not going to sit back and go, wow, this guy's larger than life. Or he's a superstar. Or he can take out Brock. They didn't book him that way. They didn't build him up enough to just go in there and win a Royal Rumble. So while that is possible, that could happen. He's one of the top 3 names probably right now being discussed. I don't see how that's believable, but on top of that, I don't see how that's going to really intrigue us. They've booked him up to be a loser so far, and Drew McIntyre has the tools and the assets to be much more than a loser. He has the tools and the assets to be a superstar in this business, in this company. They just don't book him that way, man, and he looks like a clown every other week. So I'm actually not on board with that. They're going to have to build him up a lot more. How about R-Truth, number 30 in the Rumble? I see something might happen here, though. Not that I don't want to see Truth have an opportunity in the Rumble, but something might happen where Truth is taken out and there's a new number 30. Who knows? If it is Truth, that's anticlimactic. Not because we don't like R-Truth, but because you're giving away the number 30 spot weeks, months in advance. We've known for weeks now, or maybe 2 months, who the hell knows, that R-Truth was going to be number 30 and that Carmella was going to be number 30 in her Royal Rumble. We don't want to know that shit that far in advance. And on top of that, it's not even a name that we're going to be like, oh shit, here comes number 30. Here comes Stone Cold. No, it's R-Truth, man. Or at least that's what we think. Are they going to throw us the swerve? We got to see. That's the Rumble, guys. There's no announcement of Braun Strowman. Again, we know he still has the arm injury. And we think that's the main reason he got taken out of the Brock Lesnar match. We don't think it was because he botched his lines and he had a horrible promo. That could be some of it, though. But we also think that arm is definitely not healed correctly yet. And maybe by the making of this video, by the time you guys see this, maybe he has been announced for the Rumble. We don't know. As of right now, he has not been. If Braun is in it, he could win this whole damn thing. But just like Drew, you're going to have to build him up a lot better than you have been. You had him flip over a limo 2 weeks ago, and then last week, he's battling for his life against little Finn Balor. Now all of a sudden he's winning a Rumble, and he's going to be the guy to take on Brock Lesnar when Brock already beat Braun in less than 5 minutes before. And that's your big Mania match? He'd have a better shot going over to Daniel Bryan, maybe. Then again, if he struggled with Finn, there ain't no way he's taking out Daniel Bryan. So those are my concerns if Braun does enter. Guys, that's still only 20 spots, even if Braun jumps in there. Or, I'm sorry, Cena's out, so maybe that's 19 spots. 19, 20. You still have at least 10 more spots, as of the making of this video, that are unnamed. Now, you're probably going to have some fucking, I don't know, casualties of war in there. Jobbers, as I call them. You're probably going to have the Revival, or maybe Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. You know, some tag teams, maybe even AOP. But you're definitely going to have a couple of NXT call-ups and a couple of surprises. I don't think it's going to be a lot of them, though. 5 tops, and it's probably only going to be 3 or 4. That'll be a couple of NXT talents. Who would it be? Who knows? And a couple of surprises. Who would it be? Again, who knows? That's why they put on the matches, and we all find out collectively. But wouldn't it be cool if fucking an Aleister Black came over? You know, if he wasn't able to... He's got the NXT match, so if he doesn't walk out with a championship, maybe Aleister Black comes over and shocks the world and wins the Rumble. Problem with that is, Vince doesn't like doing that because he knows the casual fans and the mainstream media fans that don't know a lot about NXT, they're going to be like, what the fuck? But you could shock the hell out of the wrestling world in one hell of a debut if you had somebody like Black come up and do that. If you do that with Aleister Black, you really got to devote everything into him, though, for the next several months through WrestleMania. Do you have Johnny Gargano come over? Do you dare have Johnny Gargano enter and win? Tommaso Ciampa. Velveteen Dream. You could have a shock win here, guys. In order for that to happen, you would have to have a shock entry, though. Remains to be seen, man. You guys want to know who I would love to see win? Batista. I know a few years ago when Batista was a surprise guy, or he was announced, I believe, right? But it was a Royal Rumble where everyone wanted to see Daniel Bryan win. And when Daniel Bryan got eliminated, we started booing Batista. He became Blue-tista. And it just didn't fit. It wasn't right. But this year, I'm cool with a guy like Batista surprising everybody and having one more solid run in WWE through the summertime. He said time and time again he wants to have one more run in WWE. He said he wanted that feud to be with Triple H. What better way to start this? Batista comes out of nowhere, wins the Rumble. He's a legit guy to take on Brock Lesnar. How badass would that be? Batista, a heavyweight, taking on Brock, a heavyweight. Both are not spring chickens. Both have dabbed in MMA. Brock a little bit more than dabbed. Both are beasts in their own right. With a stocked and stacked, that's what I meant, stacked and stocked, WrestleMania card anyway, we know it's going to be stacked. That's a cool exhibition match, and it's an exhibition match for a fucking championship. Batista and Brock. Personal opinion, man, you guys don't got to be down with that. I know you want some, maybe a new spring chicken in there, an NXT talent maybe, or somebody deserving on the roster right now. But hear me out, man. I think we could play this off to where a spring chicken and NXT talent ends up with the strap by SummerSlam through this type of a feud. So Batista shocks everybody. He wins the Rumble. He goes on to take on Brock. He wins the championship if you want Brock off of TV after WrestleMania. If his contract is just to WrestleMania, then you have Batista carry his last run in WWE through the summertime. He wins the championship, and he sets up this feud with Triple H. For some reason, he's butting heads with Triple H. Triple H doesn't really want a part of Batista, though, or maybe they have a match and Batista beats Triple H, but Triple H brings in one of his NXT guys. That's where you could show up an Aleister Black, or even a Tommaso Ciampa. He's not the biggest dude, Tommaso Ciampa, but he is one of the most ruthless. He's one of the most knowledgeable. He's one of the most psychological, thrilling guys they have in the whole company right now. I believe that Tommaso can beat Batista. And he's brought in by Triple H. And maybe he's with the Undisputed Era. Maybe there's a clique. Who knows? You could have Batista taking on a New Authority type faction. And at SummerSlam, Batista drops the title and he rides off into the sunset. So we had one last good run in WWE. He even won the Rumble, won the championship, set up a dastardly feud with Triple H and company. and he dropped the title to an up-and-coming NXT superstar. And now the mainstream fan and the casual fan will not forget the name Aleister Black, or Tommaso Ciampa, or somebody in the Undisputed Era. Some of these guys aren't the biggest guys, but if done correctly, we'll believe that they'll take out Batista. And even somebody who's always hard on Mustafa Ali and all the 205 Live guys, man, these NXT guys can be big things in this business if done correctly. There just has to be a purpose and a point. You set up a faction around Triple H, and they're all attacking Batista? That's just one storyline, guys. That's just one thing I would love to see. Probably not ever going to see it, especially this year, but it's something I would have loved to have seen. If I didn't get my way on that, yes, I would love to see somebody like Velveteen Dream win that championship and take on... No, forget Brock Lesnar. Velveteen takes on Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Or Johnny Gargano wins and chooses Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. Could you believe that shit? Even AJ Styles and Johnny Gargano. So, that's what I would like to see. Obviously, none of this is probably going to happen. It's probably going to end up being like a Seth Rollins. But, hey, man, it's the Rumble. We all can dream, can't we? Let's move on to the women's. So, for the women, guys, I will say, right off the bat, they have approximately 23 names already announced. Again, this list is as of Friday afternoon. So, by now, by the time you're watching this, maybe there's even more, or maybe there were some changes. I have no idea. Or by now, I do have an idea, but the filming is already filmed. What do you want me to do? Edit. 23 names. That's a lot when you think of, like, how many surprises are we going to get? That leaves only 7 spots left for surprises, guys. I mean, I could think of 7 NXT ladies off the snap of my finger, off the top of my head, that I would love to see in the Rumble. And if that happened, then you get no Trish Stratus's or Lita's or Beth Phoenix's or Tori Wilson's or Kelly Kelly's or whoever your favorites are from back in the day. That means you would get none of them. So, and if you do bring back 3 or 4 of them, Molly, Holly, Ivory, any of them, 3 or 4 even, well, that means you're only leaving 3 spots for NXT women. So, I don't know, man. I guess if you have 23 announced names, maybe you bring back 4 old-timers. I don't want to say old. 4 veterans. And maybe you bring up 3 NXT talents. Maybe that is a perfect amount, right? Maybe that's enough surprises. Anyway, I'll shut the fuck up and run down the 23 names that they have announced so far. I'll start off with Carmella, who's going to be the number 30 entrant. I already spoke about how R-Truth is the number 30 entrant in the Men's Royal Rumble, and how I'm just not a fan of that. Don't announce that shit way in advance, and if you're going to, it better be a name that we're intrigued about and we're excited about. I like Carmella, you guys know that. But announcing her weeks in advance that she's number 30, I don't know what that's trying to prove. Unless, like I said about R-Truth, maybe something happens where somebody else becomes number 30. Some people think Becky Lynch might squeak her way in to this match. Which brings up an interesting point, guys. Out of these 23 names, Becky Lynch is not one of the names. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, of course not, BC. She's in a championship match. Well, yes, but so far, I have heard nothing from WWE. No commentator, no journalist, no WWE.com article. Nothing has said that the loser will then be in the Rumble. I've read nothing that says that. We've seen it before in the past, and I wasn't happy about it in the past either, because I think that's such an asterisk by your name. If you're going to lose your championship match and then squeak into another opportunity the same night in the Rumble, I just feel like even if you win, there's a huge asterisk by your name. Even if Becky did that and she won, that's an asterisk to me, man. But she's not on this, man. It doesn't say anything about the loser of that match will be added on. And if so, that would mean she's 24. Or does Carmella get taken out and somebody sneaks in that spot? Interesting, just side notes, guys. But that's the first one I want to talk about. That's Carmella. Again, I like Carmella. I don't see her winning the Royal Rumble. I don't see what that would do. Not just just for the company, I don't see what that would do. What are you setting up Carmella a championship match at WrestleMania? Let's be realistic. We love you, Carmella, though. Dance break! I like to see one in the Rumble, right? Listen, even though I'm the bad guy, I'm the asshole, all that good stuff, I'm the boogeyman, listen, I like a good time, too. Let's do a dance break right in the middle of the Royal Rumble. Fuck it! Laugh a little, live a little. But again, sorry, Carmella, you're not winning the Rumble. Nor should you be. Second lady I like to talk about, Ember Moon. She is an official announced participant. Ember Moon is somebody who absolutely has what it takes to win the Rumble, is somebody that I absolutely would love to see win the Royal Rumble, but unfortunately is somebody that absolutely is not going to win the Royal Rumble. I don't believe. Unless, the only way I see Ember doing this is if they actually are going to set up a horsewomen versus horsewomen story and feud and match for WrestleMania, where somehow none of them have title belts going in the Mania. And Asuka still has it. And then, that's a pretty intriguing WrestleMania match. Ember Moon versus Asuka? For the strap? I'm all in at that point, man. I would love to see Ember Moon win the Royal Rumble. You guys know I'm a huge Ember Moon fan. I just love her. I know what she did in NXT. I know what she has, you know, and she has an awesome, interesting character. Not just what she can do in the ring. The character can do so much. And they did everything possibly wrong that they could have done to Ember Moon. They did it. Anything bad, anything wrong, anything tragic, booking-wise, they've done it to Ember Moon. It's like Bray Wyatt all over again. But that's Ember Moon. Bayley. Bayley? Could you imagine a bit? Listen. The only way I'm down with Bayley winning the Rumble is if Sasha Banks actually walks out of the Royal Rumble, walks out of Phoenix as the new Raw Women's Champion. And then if Bayley won the Royal Rumble, oh, it's on, baby. No more Boston Hug Connection, whatever the fuck they're called. No more of that. Now it's on. Or maybe there would still be maybe they win the tag team titles at Elimination Chamber too. So Sasha's a double champion and she's going to WrestleMania against Bayley. Who the fuck knows, man? I wouldn't want to see that. If that scenario happened, I would want to see Bayley and Sasha brutalizing each other for 2 straight months to WrestleMania. In each other's fit. Remember how they were before they became a tag team? Or once again, an official tag team, I should say. Remember how they were at each other's throat, backstage brawls, everything? They hated each other. Then we found out it's only because they love each other so much. But before that, when they were beating the hell out of each other, that's what we loved. Imagine if Sasha was the champion and Bayley won the Rumble. Interesting, right? That's intriguing, man. Just saying, man. So Bayley does bring up an interesting thought process. Mickie James, I love Mickie James. Old school. That's why I love Mickie. I would love personally to see Mickie James win the Royal Rumble. But it's not something that should be happening. The casual fan of today and the mainstream media fan of today wouldn't necessarily be on board. And I also don't know what it would do for the company. As a Mickie James fan, I'm being brutally honest. So she should not be winning the Rumble. I expect her to put on a damn great performance, though, because that's what Mickie James does. Natalya? Not happening, man. Again, that train has passed. Still a workhorse. Still could put on good matches. Still gonna help all the kids coming up. But she should not be winning Royal Rumble matches in 2019. Ruby Riott, it would be great for her career, but she's not at that point right now. They didn't build her up to be in that position or point. Out of nowhere, she's just going to win the Rumble, and what? Now, Ruby Riott, with all this female talent that we don't know is even going to be in one of the main events at Mania. You have Sasha, you have Charlotte, you have Becky, you have Asuka. We're talking about Ember. Ruby Riott all of a sudden is going to get a main event spot? Or a main match? I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it already, but they didn't position her in that way. So there's no way I see her winning a Rumble. Liv Morgan? I think Liv Morgan is one of the cutest things in the world, man. I really do. That has nothing to do with the Royal Rumble, but she really is, man. She is a spitfire, cute as hell, and she can tussle, man. She could punch you in the mouth. She's not winning any Royal Rumble, though. I can guarantee that. Sonya Deville, same thing. Sonya Deville should just be lucky she's on the roster. We like Sonya. She's a good kid. She's a sweetheart in real life. But I don't know what she's bringing to the roster, man. She's just Mandy Rose's sidekick. I don't know if she can even be a star on her own. Remains to be seen. We'll never know if they just keep her latched on to Mandy Rose. Which brings us to Mandy Rose. If Mandy Rose wins the Royal Rumble, that would be nuclear heat like, who was it? Roman Reigns got in Philadelphia. Remember when Roman won the Royal Rumble a few years back? And you thought there was going to be a riot, man. Not a Ruby riot, a legit one in Philadelphia. That would be if Mandy Rose won that match. Like, all this talent, and then you're like, fucking, what the excuse? She better be in a towel, mother. What the fuck? No. I don't mind Mandy. She is improving a lot week to week, and I like to see that. Does not mean she should be winning a Royal Rumble. Knowing Vince, you never know. I wouldn't be totally shocked if he had Mandy Rose winning the 2019 Royal Rumble. Unreal. Alicia Fox. Do I have to, guys? Close your eyes. Everybody, it's one of those moments. Close your eyes. You're in the Women's Royal Rumble. It's down to the last couple of people. Alicia Fox just got the last out. She just threw, who knows, Charlotte out of the ring. Who knows? Fucking Ember Moon. That's right. You still got your eyes closed? Alicia Fox has just won the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble. Alicia Fox is going to WrestleMania to fight for the heavyweight championship of the women. Raw or SmackDown. Alicia Fox, guys. Open your eyes. Don't worry. Your nightmare is over. You're awake. Not gonna happen. I hope not. Zelina Vega. Spitfire. Has the fortitude and the gusto to win one of these type of matches. But definitely should not be. We love you, Zelina. Not this year. It's not set up that way. Naomi. You know I love Naomi. She's won battle royals and such before. So you're damn right she's capable of it. I don't know where this fits into the plans, though. Again, the WrestleMania plans are already so clustered. We don't know if they're even going to do a horsewomen. And if not, then they're definitely going to do a triple threat or a fatal four. Sasha and Bayley are going to be in some... There's just all these women's matches that are already being discussed. Naomi winning the Royal Rumble? That would throw everybody for a loop. It would be a loop I'm definitely okay being thrown into, but everyone else, I don't know about that, man. Billie Kay? Come on, man. Peyton Royce? Come on, man. Iconics, wait, listen, that was a horrible Australian accent. I apologize, I'll try not to ever do that again. Listen, the Iconics serve their role and purpose, but Vince McMahon has made it abundantly clear he looks at them as no more than jobbers. I'm not going to realistically look at both of them and think they're going to win the Rumble. And if you do want us to take them seriously in the future, Vince, you're going to have to book them the right way. Make us believe such. As of now, it ain't going to happen. Charlotte Flair. This is obviously the front runner. Everybody pretty much knows it's a foregone conclusion. Charlotte is winning this thing. And if that's the case, then you have to think not only is Ronda Rousey keeping her strap, but that Becky Lynch is winning her match with Asuka in regaining her championship. Because you have to think the storyline is going to be Charlotte is now going to pick between Ronda and Becky. And if they want it to be a triple threat, does Vince have a merge planned in the future before WrestleMania? It makes you think. With Fox wanting Ronda Rousey over on the SmackDown brand, with ratings in the dumps, maybe they're going to merge Raw and SmackDown again. And if that's the case, you'd have your triple threat sitting in your lap. Ronda and Becky have to face each other because you have to unify the titles, but Charlotte won the Royal Rumble, so she deserves her shot. There's your triple threat. Huh? Just saying, guys. Or what everyone thinks might happen is Becky squeaks into the Rumble after not regaining her championship in her singles match earlier in the night, and she somehow does a Lex Luger Bret Hart with Charlotte. And what that means, guys, I believe this was 93, 94, I think it was. And it was Lex Luger and Bret Hart. They both simultaneously, I can speak, went over the top rope and their feet hit the floor all at the same time. So they announced both Lex Luger and Bret Hart both won the championship, won the match, and headed on to WrestleMania to fight for the championship. So that's how they did it. I believe that was the year of WrestleMania 10. So I believe Bret Hart, I almost said Brett Favre, man. I'm losing it already. We still got a lot of podcasts left to go. WrestleMania 10, that year, Bret Hart took on his brother Owen Hart. And then Yokozuna took on Lex Luger, right? And then Bret Hart took on Yokozuna. And I believe Bret Hart ended up winning the championship over Yokozuna. Am I correct? I don't think it was Lex Luger who won the... No, it was Bret Hart. Oh, man. I gotta fucking go back in my history, man. I believe that was the sequence of events. Anyway, it all stemmed from the Royal Rumble. Lex Luger and Bret Hart both went over the top. A lot of people think there's going to be some type of a schmaz where Becky and Charlotte both go over. Either way, it looks like Charlotte Flair is winning this thing. Dana Brooke. I like Dana Brooke, I do. That's not happening. Tamina, I want to put my head through a cement wall right now. How Tamina is on the roster is beyond me, and why she's in the Rumble is beyond me. Oh, I know. She's bigger than the other ladies, so we're supposed to look at her as a threat. Okay. Just like Nia Jax. Yeah, that's a real threat. I'm sure she's going to eliminate like 10 to 15 females too, which is pathetic. Because they should not be doing that with somebody like Nia, because it's been proven time and time again. She's not going to get the reaction you want. She is not going to be the catalyst of some awesome storyline or feud. It's just not going to happen with Nia. So no, she's not winning any Royal Rumble, nor should she. She better not. Or there's not enough cement walls in New York City to contain me going through them. Lana. Sorry, Lana. We love you. Not happening. Nikki Cross. Big debut for her at one of her first big pay-per-view. Winning the Rumble. But it's not happening, Nikki. Sorry. Alexa Bliss. Possible with Vince. Vince loves his Alexa Bliss. Could you imagine Alexa first match back and she's winning the Royal Rumble? I don't even want to talk about this any further, and hopefully I never have to again. Lacey Evans. Listen, you want to make a dramatic impact on your debut, I understand. Not at the expense of the Royal Rumble. Hell no. At that point, give it to Charlotte. Not Lacey Evans. And that's your 23 names, guys, listed so far. So we got to see who they're going to bring in from NXT talent, who they're going to bring in from the past. You know, I'd be lying if I told you that if I am being brutally honest, which I always am, to see Trish Stratus come back and win the Rumble, I don't give a fuck who doesn't like that idea. I don't give a fuck if she's taking up a spot from the youngsters. Take my money times 10. I would love to see Trish win the Rumble and go to WrestleMania to have a title match. Please! Any day of the week. Twice on Sunday. Twice on WrestleMania Sunday. And for NXT top, man, could you imagine? You guys know how I feel about Kairi Sane and Io Shirai. Could you imagine if they just debuted and won this thing? Not gonna happen. But could you just imagine? Fuck, goosebumps, man. So that's it, man. There is some intrigue, I'm not gonna lie. But I think most of the intrigue at this year's Royal Rumble is for some of the singles matches. And that's what we're going to talk about next. But the Royal Rumble matches, these seem like the icing on the cake. The cherry on top. The real thrill, the real excitement is really for some of these matches. And I want to start out with, let's stick with the women. And I want to start off with the aforementioned Becky Lynch. And she is the challenger in this match, taking on champion Asuka. This is a big match, guys. Obviously, everybody, whether you think it's the same momentum or it's been lowered, or you think she's being forced, she's not as natural, you think there's no problem at all, and Becky should just coast to WrestleMania. No matter how you feel, Becky Lynch is still a main player, a big-time player in WWE right now, and some would say the main one. So that says a lot. Taking on someone the likes of Asuka, who's not just the champion, but even if you took that champion away from Asuka, that championship, Asuka is still Asuka. She is, you could say, a queen of strong style. She is a legit badass. from Japan to the United States and everywhere in between. Nobody can say that Asuka is soft. Nobody can say that when you step in the ring with Asuka, it's a guaranteed victory. No, usually it's the opposite. So this is a big time match, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm gonna hit you with truth. Don't expect to be captivated by this match. Don't go into this match thinking you're going to see some of the best wrestling you've ever seen. Female, male, it doesn't matter. It's probably not going to happen. These two don't gel the best together. I know it's odd, right? Asuka's a really good wrestler. Becky Lynch is a really good wrestler. You think they'll have the most dynamic chemistry, but they actually don't. And if you look at their strong suits and their weaknesses, you would know that. But then you've seen the small times that they've been in the ring together, and you just see it's a little bit more funky. Now, both are ground game type wrestlers, right? I'm hard-pressed to say ground technicians, but I like to say for these two, ground game players. That's what they are. They're more suited for the ground. They're not going to be the ones diving off ropes 2-3 times a match. Not going to happen. These are the ones that are going to really be more technical, more sound to the ground game. I'm cool with that, but when you already don't have the best chemistry, I'm going to have my expectations even keel. It's still going to be a good match, I feel, because you have two consummate professionals, and they know what they have to do. Even at the lull points in the match. But what we're really focused on here isn't really the move-for-move match itself. It's what is the end game. What does WWE have up their sleeve? Was Becky Lynch meant to win this championship back from the beginning? And if that is the case, if so, the whole reason to give Asuka the championship for 1 month was just to give it back to Becky Lynch a month later. That shows me WWE never really had a plan, and that tells me the Amplified Man was right from day one that Asuka was put in that match just to be the fall guy. Sure, she couldn't get pinned or submitted in that match because the title was hanging up high, but she was in there to keep the focus off of Becky Lynch's weaknesses. She was just coming off of injury. Vince didn't know exactly what she had, so just in case, Asuka was in there just to be the middleman. And then, when he started to see that the focus was really going on Asuka and people really wanted to kind of see this, he said, hey, let's throw it on Asuka. We can always develop something for Becky later on. And now we're all going to find out what that was. Is Becky walking out of Phoenix with the championship? And if that is the case, all of this was for nothing. You should have had her just keep it at TLC. Or is Asuka walking out of Phoenix still your champion? And that opens up Pandora's box. A plethora of possibilities at that point. Where the heck do they go with Asuka at WrestleMania? Who takes her on? Then it could be Ember Moon. Or an NXT gal. Or who would be on that SmackDown roster? Who would be next in line? Charlotte, wouldn't she be tied up with Becky Lynch, you would think? And maybe even Rousey if they find a way to scheme her in? No idea, guys, but what I will say is, we don't know. There's all this speculation. Not one soul knows for sure who's walking out with that strap. And everyone thinks if Becky doesn't, she's going to somehow find her way into the Rumble. You better hope so, because if Becky doesn't win that match or walk out with the strap, and she doesn't enter the Rumble, then how the hell are you finagling her into that match at WrestleMania? You're going to have some schmaz at Elimination Chamber February 17th. The pay-per-view before WrestleMania. I can go every which way here, guys, so there is so much anticipation for the end of this match and what the outcome is going to be. That is going to far outweigh the match itself. That's just, it's truth, guys. You'll see what I mean when Royal Rumble goes on. Again, I'm telling you guys, it'll be a good match because Asuka and Becky Lynch know what they have to do, and they're consummate professionals, and they're going to make sure it's a good match. But don't expect any breathtaking match, any, moves that just totally take your breath away, shock you. This isn't going to be that type of match. Asuka and Becky Lynch are much more simplistic in their style. It's still badass, still strong style, but it's more of a ground game, move for move type of match and there's nothing wrong with that. These days, I think people want flips and dives and people flying off the top rope every other move and, fast-paced, non-stop. You don't have to always have that. You can have more psychology in your match, and you should have more psychology. If you're Jake the Snake Roberts, if he was training kids over there in NXT, just like Shawn Michaels has admitted numerous times what he's doing right now, he's teaching them more psychology. Because these kids are coming in today looking to shoot from post to pillar to post to pillar to post, 100 steps in 4 seconds. Michaels is trying to calm them down. Use more psychology, a little less flips and dives. So they'll be all right, but I don't expect the crowd to be on their feet during this match. It's going to be a lot more tame than what you're used to, especially with what we're used to with these females. TLC matches, kendo sticks coming out after matches, table spots, chairs, ladders. And now we're going to see just a wrestling match. And we'll see what the extracurricular activity is afterwards. Is there going to be a horsewomen versus horsewomen schmaz at the end? We'll see, man. It's going to be interesting. Let's go over to the other female match, man, and this is going to be Sasha Banks, the challenger, taking on Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey. This is the match that's going to be a little more captivating, I feel, because this is going to be a match where they're really trying to outdo each other. I honestly feel Sasha Banks is going to try to show the world in that match she is tenfold better than Ronda Rousey will ever be. And I think Ronda Rousey is so competitive, she's going to try to one-up Sasha, and it's just going to be one-up after one-up. I just hope they don't try to outdo themselves so much that they end up botching too many times, that they end up making the mistakes that they should not be making, because both are much more capable of going a flawless match than what they could end up with if they try outdoing each other. The whole point in this is don't try to outdo yourselves to the point you're going to make stupid mistakes. Go in there. Ronda Rousey's fully rehearsed in her matches, guys. I know that sucks to hear, but she is. With a Ronda Rousey pay-per-view match, they like to have her fully rehearsed. That means right now, as you're viewing this video, they could be rehearsing Sasha and fucking Ronda right now as we speak. They have their coffees. They could be rehearsing their match. And I'm okay with that. Ronda Rousey is still very green. It doesn't look it because she took to this business so naturally, but she is. So we're going to need Ronda Rousey to really be in there with somebody she can trust, know what she's doing, and not have those fuck-up moments. Sasha Banks is a good person to be in there with to do such, because she is a consummate professional, but Sasha Banks is one that's going to try to one-up you. And if that throws Ronda off her game at all, then it could become a sequence of clusterfucks. That's the only way this match goes off the rails. If they can stay within themselves and keep their knowledge and confidence of what needs to be done, it's going to be an unbelievable match, guys. I promise you. Where does it end? Who walks out with that strap? I'm guessing it has to be Ronda Rousey. It wouldn't make much sense. Listen, you ain't going to find a bigger Sasha Banks fan than yours truly. But I'll be the first to admit, how are you going to have Sasha be the first to defeat Ronda Rousey in her career one-on-one, because Ronda Rousey just lost her first match with Natalya, but that was a tag match last Monday. But one-on-one, all of this was for a Royal Rumble defeat? And Sasha Banks walks out with the champion? Well, who the hell's going to take on... Again, does Bayley win the Royal Rumble then? Where does that fit into a Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte storyline to end this thing once and for all, which we all think is going to be at WrestleMania? And, on top of that, doesn't Sasha have to win the tag straps with Bayley anyway at Elimination Chamber? So this should just be a match to get Ronda to WrestleMania. But I'm okay with that because this is the most relevant Sasha has been in a year and a half. 2018, you wouldn't even known she was on the roster. Unless she was hugging people and playing with Bayley's buddies. No, this is the best, most ruthless Sasha Banks we've seen since the NXT days. Her on the mic, the promos, flawless. The confidence that Sasha is showing now, better than at any time, even in NXT. So this was not all for nothing. And she gets a big match with Ronda, and if this ends the right way, Everybody should say face. Everybody looks Diesel at the end of this match, no matter who wins or loses. Just like I said in November, if Becky Lynch didn't get injured, win or lose, Becky was going to come out of that better than ever before. Sasha will come out of this better than ever before. I promise you, win or lose doesn't matter. But they do have to play this finish flawlessly. Are we going to have a horsewomen storyline start up full throttle for WrestleMania? Or is this just going to be Ronda Rousey tapping Sasha Banks out? I don't know if I'm down with that type of ending. Sasha deserves better than that. We'll see, guys. Also, you have the Tag Team Championships for SmackDown. Thank goodness the Raw Tag Team Championships aren't being defended at the Royal Rumble, because that fucking roster for tag teams is even more depleted than SmackDown's. It's criminal at this point. We'll do the SmackDown tag straps. I'm a big Shane McMahon fan. You have him tagging up with The Miz, and they're taking on champions The Bar. I would love to see Shane McMahon walk out as a champion, but don't you guys feel like this is where Miz is going to turn on Shane? Or vice versa, but I would think it's The Miz. And this is going to set up their WrestleMania match, Miz versus Shane McMahon? If not, then do they win the tag straps, and Shane and Miz are going to have a tag team championship match at WrestleMania, and that's where one of them turns on each other? Possibly. But I would think that they do not win the tag straps at the Rumble, and then they break up. Not what I want. I want Shane McMahon walking out as champion, and it would be pretty cool to see Shane McMahon and Miz as tag team champions. It would be. And you guys know I'm a huge Shane McMahon fan. I feel he captivates people from the moment he steps out in front of that curtain. He just has this aura around him, man. It's dynamite, and he is not afraid to take any risk necessary to not only entertain the fans, but walk out with his hand held high. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I love that. The Miz, once again, a champion of any sorts, that's always a welcoming sight. I don't know what that would do with the Bar going forward, but let's be honest, even if the Bar retains, what epic match is the Bar going to have at WrestleMania? Who's setting them up with who? I don't know, guys. That match could go either which way, man. It should be an exciting finish for sure. And an exciting match. I feel all four of these individuals are going to fucking bring it. The WWE Championship match, I don't feel I need to spend a lot of time on this. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are going to go out there and do what Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles do. Beat the shit out of each other, show everyone why they're the best in the world, and collect their paycheck. Who walks out as champion? You have to believe it's Daniel Bryan. Otherwise, just like Asuka and Becky Lynch, what was all of this for? Why did you take the strap off of Styles in December if you're just going to make him get it back in January? I understand his contract wasn't renewed yet, and we fully expect AJ Styles to re-up his contract with WWE now. So does that mean Vince is okay giving him the strap back now that he knows he's going to remain with the company for years to come? Or do you let Daniel Bryan walk into Mania as the strap holder? I love AJ Styles, but Daniel Bryan needs to walk into Mania as the strap holder. He does. It's going to be an unbelievable match, again, because it's Bryan and Styles. Sign me up. Take my money on that shit. The Universal Championship is interesting. This is champion Brock Lesnar taking on challenger Finn Balor. Balor has went on record and said you will not see the Demon in Phoenix. Is he throwing us a swerve? Do we get the Demon as a surprise? I doubt it, but it would be cool. But Finn Balor taking on Brock. Listen, I've been hard on Finn Balor this week because I don't know how I'm supposed to believe that 6'3", almost 300-pound Brock is going to get beat by 190-pound, 5'10.5" Finn Balor. But it's possible, I guess, man. Right? Anything's possible. Finn Balor is a kick-ass wrestler. It's going to be a fun show. No matter how hard I've been on Finn, no matter what I believe is realistic, it's going to be fun. We saw that with... Brock can work with littler guys, smaller guys, really well. We saw it with AJ Styles, we saw it with Daniel Bryan, and we know Finn Balor's going to bring his A game. So the match is going to be fun, and if it ends the right way, which is Brock Lesnar defeating Finn, sorry Finn Balor fans, but there's no other realistic way you can go about this. Unless there's a huge run-in. If there's a run-in and somebody's fucking costing Brock the strap and Brock is so enraged that he has to face this person at WrestleMania, then I'm okay with it. But Otherwise, Brock should be winning this match. But this is a good match for Brock to get him to WrestleMania. I just wish it was the Demon. But I'll suspend any disbelief that I have, and I will watch this thing, and I hope they put on a realistic, kick-ass, badass match and show. And I think they're going to. Again, the theme of the Royal Rumble, you have two more consummate professionals. They know what they have to do in that ring. I think it's going to be Diesel. Or does Vince have them go out there and do a 3-minute squash match and Finn gets annihilated? I don't want to see that. BC, wouldn't that be realistic? Yes, it would be. But I think we want to see some of the fun entertainment side of this. We know that this could have some good entertainment value to it. Finn Balor trying to slay Goliath, trying to slay the Beast Brock Lesnar. It's going to be fun. It's just when the time comes, he's got to get annihilated. I just don't think it should be a 2 or 3 minute squash match. You know what I mean? Finn deserves a little bit more than that. A little bit more credit. A little bit more fight. And that's the Royal Rumble, guys. There is a lot to look forward to. Whether you love this card, whether you're in love with this card or not, you gotta admit, there's some intrigue in this son of a bitch. Every single one of these matches I just went over, including the 2 Royal Rumble matches, we have to find out the endings. Because this is the start to what we're going to see at WrestleMania. So this is why we're all way more curious than a normal pay-per-view. Normally, yeah, you want to see the outcomes, but normally you don't have to. It's just like, oh, I wonder who's going to win this. Or some matches, you don't even care who's going to win. Every single match I just went over, we need to find out what the fuck is happening for WrestleMania. And we're going to find out at the Royal Rumble when it's all said and done. That's what makes this interesting, intriguing, and hella entertaining. I'm hoping all the boys and gals go out there and give it their all. We're going to be supporting them, and we're going to talk all about it Monday morning for the good, the bad, and the ugly, guys. We're not done with the podcast yet, not by a long shot. Scene 3, we're going old school, amplified Q&A, and we're getting interactive. But first, Scene 2, Take 1. NXT TakeOver Phoenix Review. Action! About to answer 100 questions from you guys, the Amplified Unit, in the very next scene, Scene 3. So I'm going to try to keep this NXT TakeOver review from Phoenix last night short, simple, to the point. I first want to say that this takeover, like all takeovers that I've seen, delivered again. It was a solid show. But at this point, I think NXT and TakeOver, I think they're incapable of putting on a bad show. They just have the winning formula, which is you build up characters and storylines for the weeks previous, and then at TakeOver, at the pay-per-view, at the special event, you have the final blow-off, the payoff. It's a winning formula that WWF, even before WWE, used to have. Way before there was even Raw and SmackDown, there were Superstars of Wrestling and Wrestling Challenge. Those were their shows. They were just 1-hour programs, and you just built up the superstars. And within that show, you built up feuds and storylines. And at the pay-per-view, you had the wrestling matches. No glitz, no glamour, maybe a surprise here and there, and that's what made an awesome pay-per-view. Well, NXT takeovers, they have that winning formula, NXT as a whole. Now, I understand WWE is a bigger conglomerate company. They have to cater to the mainstream media fans, the casual fans, and every demographic in between. Also, there's different advertisers and things of such that they need to kind of bend a little bit for. So it is a totally different beast. Anybody that tells you you can take exactly what NXT is doing and that's the main roster today is either bullshitting you or they just don't know the business. I will actually give Vince, I will defend WWE in that way, guys. You can't actually just translate that or transfer that into the main roster. However, what I will not give them the benefit of the doubt for, and what I will absolutely slam them for, is not having that type of winning combination, that winning formula. Build up characters, storylines, and feuds we give a shit about in the weeks previous to the pay-per-view, and then at the pay-per-view, give us the solid wrestling card. Is that so much to ask for? Is that too much to ask for? That is what professional wrestling was built on. That is its foundation, and that's what it should be today. NXT has that formula, and there is no reason that formula can't be on the main roster. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Was last night's TakeOver the best TakeOver I've ever seen? Absolutely not. Was it the best atmosphere? Did it have the best feel? Absolutely not. Not by a long shot. Don't even know if that would be in my top 5. Probably not. But it was absolutely a solid show with matches we will absolutely remember. Now, it kicked off. I feel this was a risky move. This was the War Raiders taking on Undisputed Era. I just looked at the card as a whole, and I'm thinking you could have started off differently. You're putting a lot of stock. You're investing a lot into the War Raiders and Undisputed Era, and you're showing them a lot of respect. I remember TakeOver Respect. Those were the actual pay-per-view names back in the day. That's what I thought of. I mean, you're giving them respect, man. You're giving the War Raiders a huge opportunity here, because that first match sets the tone. That first match, you're putting a lot of stock into these individuals, and it was risky because I didn't know if Undisputed Era and War Raiders, we know they're capable of putting on great matches, but I didn't know if they were going to set that tone that was needed. They far went above and beyond any wildest expectations that I would have had for them. This tag team match was probably the best tag team match I've seen in quite some time, and that includes NXT, and we've seen some great ones down in NXT. Only in NXT. I can't think of any great tag team match I've seen recently on the main roster, but something about that tag team match, man, where everything was flowing. You had a guy like Hanson going out there and being a 205 cruiserweight at times. Roddy Strong, this was a guy at first when he joined up with Undisputed Era. Guys, I honestly felt he was like a third wheel. And I know at that point he was a fourth wheel. But you get the point. It almost seemed like they didn't have anything for Strong. They knew they wanted to do something with him, and they just threw him with Undisputed Era, and I didn't feel it was a good fit, and I didn't like the idea. Here we are last night, and I was like blown away. This guy not only fits in perfectly with Undisputed Era, he's a breakout star. This guy gets better and better, and that's saying something because he was already fucking really good. Really impressed with Strong last night. And obviously, if you watch a War Raiders match, if you're not impressed with Hanson, then you ain't got a pulse going. Just the performances last night, going tick for tack. You had two guys like War Raiders matching the Undisputed Era in their size. They were matching them move for move. This tag team match went off, to me, flawlessly, with a couple of bumps in the road. Other than that, flawlessly. And at the end of this thing, we saw new tag team champions for NXT, and they are the War Raiders. So it went from, risky move. Again, not that I didn't think they could put on a good tag team match. I didn't know if they could set that aura, that presence, that TakeOver needed to kick off the show, and they far exceeded that. And I just felt that was the, man, it went from, I don't know, to perfect way to start off the show. I don't know if the War Raiders needed, not deserved, but needed a 7-minute entrance, but it was badass. But it went too long. It went from, hey, this is really cool, to, okay, this is starting to get awkward. They were just standing in their positions with all the guarded soldiers for like a couple minutes too long. It started getting a little awkward. But if it was just a couple minutes shorter, that was one of the most badass entrances I've ever seen in NXT TakeOver history. So even though it went too long, it got awkward for a minute there, that was still a badass entrance. And again, Triple H is putting a lot of stock, a lot of investment into the War Raiders. And we saw from that match last night, it is well-deserved stock that Triple H is putting in him. The second match, we had to come down a little bit, obviously, from that awesome tag team match, and we did. We came down with Cassius Ohno versus Matt Riddle. I don't see all the hoopla in Riddle. I understand he's good. He was a UFC, or was he MMA? UFC too, right? Maybe. I forgot his fucking martial arts background, but the guy's got a solid background in MMA. He obviously took to this wrestling thing very naturally, and he's obviously good. a lot of wrestling fans have this guy as like the second coming of the big dog. Not Roman Reigns, the actual big dog up there, way up high. People have him like he is like some holy anointed one. I just see him as Matt Riddle. Good wrestler? Alright, bro. See what I did there? But again, no shade to him, but he still has to earn a lot more of my respect down there in NXT, and before I start saying, hey, he's the next champion. But people love this guy, so the Amplified Man will take a backseat here, and we'll let this wave, see what I did there? We'll let that ride out. But he had a good match last night with Ono, I felt. It was nowhere near, obviously, what that tag match was going to put on, or what Gargano and Ricochet was going to put on. So they were going to be lost in the shuffle no matter what. So I felt second match on the card was perfect for them, and that was the match where everyone was going to come down anyway. It might as well be with Ono and Riddle. That being said, again, decent match and even good at times. Not that good, but good at times. I want to give props to Cassius Ohno right now, because Ohno went out there, and that was the Ohno we need to see. Vicious and ruthless. And he has this look on his face like, I don't know what I just did, or I don't know what you're talking about. I beat the fuck out of a human being. So what? That's the Ohno we need to see. It's just sad that I'm seeing the same type of booking with him in NXT that we saw with Bray Wyatt on the main roster. And that is that you'll see this epic character come out of him. You'll see that passion and that ruthlessness in this character developing before our eyes. But then when it matters the most and the payoff, he never comes through. He can't deliver, and he's always losing. I think he's 0 for 5 in takeovers. Cassius Ohno has yet to win a takeover, I believe. So we start to see a good storyline. We start to see the best of Cassius Ohno, and then when it matters the most, he never can deliver. And he always loses. Last night, tapping out. Now, I did feel that was a really cool ending, though. The way he tapped out, and even when Matt Riddle got off of him, he still was tapping out, and his face was like in shock. I could do a lot of things with that character and with that tap out. I'm not going to go into it now, but maybe in a future video I will. But we have a lot more to get to in this podcast. But I can do a lot with that kind of sadistic character. So maybe it's not totally lost with Cassius Ohno. I just would like to see him start winning the big pay-per-view payoff matches. And that's what I started seeing with Bray Wyatt. The character was epic when he got to WWE's main roster. His storylines were some of the best. He never delivered, man. He couldn't win the big match on the big stages. That's Cassius Ohno's problem. Matt Riddle, at the end of this match, he started going vicious, though, and throwing those hammer bows, those elbows straight into Cassius Ohno's skull. Finally getting him in submission, and Cassius Ohno never stood a chance. So, again, I like what I saw with Matt Riddle. I know this guy can be a star, but I'm not ready to throw a championship on this guy, nor should he have it yet. My way of thinking, guys. I just see this guy, I don't know, the character's not larger than life to me. His wrestling is basic. He's good, but it's nothing overwhelmingly awesome. So I don't know what everyone's loving. That he's barefoot? I say put on some fucking boots, dude. What is this guy? He's like Rusev or Yokozuna, right? Those guys wrestled barefoot because it was comfortable. They were bigger dudes. Matt Riddle looks like he literally just came from San Diego's beach. And he's like, oh shit, I got a wrestling match in an hour. He just came from the beach. I see this guy at WrestleMania, one of his entrances. I see the graphic on the stage being like a huge wave. And I honestly think one day they're going to have him come down for WrestleMania. And they're going to have him on like a surfboard. And they're going to have this surfboard to where Matt Riddle can't fall off, obviously. And the graphic is going to be a wave, and he's just going to be like surfing down to the ringside area. Down to the ring. How badass would that be? I actually would think that would be kind of cool. It fits his character, bro. But yeah, so no shade. I actually like Matt Riddle. I just, I'm not seeing the larger-than-life thing that everyone is anointing him already. Remains to be seen for the Amplified Man. Third match of the night. This was it. I mean, nothing... The old saying in wrestling, when two individuals or a tag team, whatever, go out there and they put on just the dynamite performance of the night. They steal the show, basically. When you go back to through the curtain, whoever's there at Gorilla about to have the match after you, you look at them and you say, follow that. And it was a running joke between performers. Well, now we all kind of know that saying, and sometimes it's blown up and it's used too often. Last night, Gargano and Ricochet literally could go back to Gorilla, look at anybody, and say, follow that. Because nobody was going to. We knew this was going to be the match of the night. They put it right in the middle of TakeOver, third match, and it was the match of the night. The match of the year right now. It was just last week, Almas and Rey Mysterio on the main roster. But Gargano and Ricochet last night did what Almas and Rey Mysterio did times 25. That's how good that match was last night. And I know it's only January 27th, but we're already talking about match of the year with Almas and Mysterio. Well, if we're doing that, guess what? That just got bumped. Ricochet and Johnny Gargano is the new match of the year so far. And that's just the way it is. How do I even need to describe this match? I couldn't. If you didn't watch the thing, you have to go back somehow and watch it. And if you did watch it, you're probably going to go back and watch it at least a second time, like I'm going to. That's how epic this match was, guys. And you guys know, I'm not a big fan of the total move-for-move, spot-for-spot fest type of match. In the flips and the dives, I'm not a huge fan of just that in pro wrestling. I like the old school mentality of psychology first. Selling. Right up there with psychology. When you have the flips and dives, move for move, spot fest type of match, the selling is out the window. And we saw that with Gargano and Ricochet. When you guys hear me talking about wrestlers not selling in spot fests, that's the type of match. Where you have super kicks being thrown and devastating DDTs and this, that, and the other thing. And they're bouncing right back up to get set up for the next spot, the next move. That's where you're not selling. And that's what Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, that's what they talk about. Now, Shawn Michaels is one of the guys helping these NXT talents, but Shawn Michaels alone is not going to change that atmosphere and the new wave of wrestling and how wrestling is portrayed and done now. This is the new crop of wrestlers, and this is the new style of wrestling. I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a fan of it as a whole, but when you watch that Ricochet and Gargano match, there ain't no way you're taking a step back and going, eh. No, you're saying that was really cool. That was awesome. That was epic. Because it was. So I'm not saying that this new style of pro wrestling doesn't have its place. It just can't be all the time. You know, at takeovers, we could definitely pull them out of the arsenal. So I'm definitely on board with that Ricochet Gargano match. There was times in that match I was blown away. When Gargano did the suplex to Ricochet on the outside to just the concrete, I'm thinking like he's going to throw him like a little softy, a little mulligan here, right? Fly back with him, you know, make it, you know, just a soft impact. They show the replay. Guys, he made sure he threw the upper shoulder blade area first. That was devastating. Like, how can a human being get up from that? Then they get back in the ring and he gets another devastating DDT to the point where I literally thought his head was through the canvas. And there was no way Ricochet was getting up from that. And you look at the selling when Ricochet took that DDT, that was good selling. Ricochet looked like he was dead at that point. But this whole match, I can't tell you. Ricochet does things that I never thought a normal human being, not even a gymnast of 25 years, can pull off. That's what Ricochet does. And maybe a Ricochet loss of that title last night, maybe that means Ricochet's headed up to the roster to take on the likes of Almas and Mysterio and maybe even Ali and all them. I want to see him with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. Sign me up. Take my money. I'm there. There's no way I can go through this match move for move with you guys. You guys got to watch that shit, and if you did watch it 100 more times. It was amazing. It was the match of the night, and I felt bad for anybody following it because you weren't going to. That's it. I don't need to say any more. That was just incredible, man. And again, new champion in Johnny Gargano with the North American Championship. So the downside of that is now we don't get to see Gargano on the main roster anytime soon. I was really looking forward to him. That was one of my dream spots in the Rumble and going forward for WrestleMania and setting up matches with him and Styles and him and Bryan. That sucks, but pretty badass to see him capture a championship and that match again. Nothing more I can say. Match of the year right now for main roster and NXT. And anything I saw, actually. Wrestle Kingdom and New Japan Pro Wrestling. That match last night between Gargano and Ricochet is the match of the year in all of that I've seen in pro wrestling in multiple companies. That's how good it was. Now, the next match, this was for the NXT Women's Championship. This was Shayna Baszler taking on Bianca Belair. You guys know I'm a huge Bianca Belair fan. I will be the first. First, I want to say, great job, both ladies. Great job going out there and holding your own. Great job going out there and yeah, man, just staying strong and holding your own. I can't say too much more. I can't say great job for going out there and putting on a great match. I can't say that. But I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them for going out there and holding strong and putting together what they did create. The problem is, and I am a Bianca Belair fan. Second time I've had to tell you guys this because I'm going to be a little critical here. She was exposed last night for the weaknesses that she does have. She was exposed last night for anyone that said maybe she's not quite ready for that takeover position yet. Guys, they were right. I saw on social media, I think even Sam Roberts said she's not NXT TakeOver ready yet. And some people got furious. Belair fans especially. Now, I'm one of those Belair fans. Third time I've had to tell you guys this. Keep that in mind when I'm critical here. But I agreed with them. She got catapulted way faster than a lot of females that got takeover matches. And I knew from the beginning, because again, fourth time, I'm a Belair fan. And I knew her strengths and weaknesses, what she's capable of right now and what she needs work on. And they thrusted her into that takeover position, even over Io Shirai. I knew she wasn't ready yet, and if you watch that, if you really know what you're talking about and you watch professional wrestling and you really know professional wrestling and you know these wrestlers in and out, you know each one of their strengths and weaknesses, what they're capable of, what they need work on. If you really watch pro wrestling with that keen eye like the Amplified Man, you know Bianca Belair was just not the best person for the job last night in that match. When you talk about takeover classics, like Asuka and Ember Moon, Asuka and Mickie James, even, you want to go way back, Sasha Banks and Bayley. You want to go a little bit newer, like Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. I just named a bunch of classic NXT women's matches from takeovers. You're not going to put Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair anywhere in those categories. And it's because it wasn't that great of a match. You could say good. I'm not even going to go that route. But I am proud of them, and they did a great job of holding their own. But Bianca Belair was exposed for those weaknesses. She has to work on them before you can put her in the main roster and start putting her up against Charlotte and Sasha and Ember Moon. Or before she's going one-on-one big-time feuds with a Kairi Sane or an Io Shirai, because they're going to really expose her. She's lucky she was in there with Baszler. But the ending of the match, I did enjoy. They made Bianca Belair look really strong. Like she is not giving up until she ended up having to pass out. I feel it could have been done a lot better. And again, this is where Belair was at fault. The way she was kind of selling it. She would come totally alive and stand up, and then she's like dead. And then she didn't know how to gradually turn up the notch or turn down a few notches. Again, these are things I was witnessing, and I was like, these are the little details that create an epic match and a classic, or a not-so-much classic. A not-so-much epic match. So I know I'm being a little critical here, but these were big details that a lot of fans that do watch with a keen eye, they knew was problematic heading into this takeover. And a lot of people just didn't want to hear it because they're Bianca Belair fans and just sit back and deal with the fact that she's in there and no matter what, she's going to kill it. And if you don't like it, then you're a hater. Not the case. I'm a Bianca Belair fan 5 times now, I had to tell you this. And I'm going to tell you, Those people were right. It was not her time. It was way too soon. But we got what we got. But you're kidding yourself if you thought that Shayna Baszler was going to be in there with anyone else and they weren't going to put on a good match, because that's what NXT TakeOver does. They allow you the time to tell your story. That's why almost every TakeOver match is at least good. But that match last night between the females, I expected a lot more from a female match at TakeOver, and Belair and Shayna Baszler, Then we went into the main event. Now this was, again, it wasn't the main event to me. You're not going to tell me Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black is going to come anywhere near Gargano and Ricochet. And they didn't. It was a good match. Yes, it was not a great match. And I want my NXT TakeOver, because this is what I've come to expect. You can call me spoiled. I want my NXT TakeOver main events to be great. Even epic. But it was Tommaso and Aleister Black. They don't have the best chemistry like Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, for instance. Or a Velveteen Dream and a Ricochet. They don't have that type of chemistry, but they put on a damn good match. That's all I can say. The ending sequence obviously picked up. There was sequences in this match where we were on our feet going, wow, cool. But the overall presentation, when you're thinking Gargano and Ricochet in the back of your mind, you know what I mean? And I know they delivered. But Tommaso Ciampa ends up keeping his championship. Still NXT Heavyweight Champion. And that's TakeOver. He goes up the staging area, and Johnny Gargano comes out with his North American Championship. And Johnny Gargano holds up his strap, and Tommaso Ciampa holds up his. Now, I would have liked this if they were squared off against each other, face to face. Like, remember when CM Punk returned to WWE with his championship, and John Cena was the newly crowned new champion because they thought CM Punk had left for good? So you had CM Punk holding his strap up, John Cena holding his face to face. You felt the intensity. Just in case you want to set up Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano at the next TakeOver in New York. But instead, they had them facing toward the ring like they're a tag team now. And they were both holding their straps like they were just DIY or some shit. So I want them to square off. So it's like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm a champ. Yeah, no, motherfucker, I'm a champ. Instead, I feel there was a huge botch where they were looking toward the ring like, now we're a team. We're two bad guys. There's too much history between them, hateful, that I didn't want to see them just being a tag team again. And then after, when NXT went off the air, somebody sent me a photo of this, or a video, I should say. There was no volume to it. So I don't know what was happening, but it looked like Shawn Michaels was out there, and Aleister Black was by his side, and they were in Gargano and Ciampa were pushing Shawn Michaels and Aleister and Michaels were pushing them. So it looked like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are great buddies again. I would rather see them more squaring off against each other. And I know that's the route that they want to take, probably. That we're two bad guys, and we're kind of together. I'd rather see them take on each other at the next TakeOver if you're going to do that. Do it like a title for title if you gotta. But I don't know what they're trying to do with Shawn Michaels and Aleister. What, are we going to set up a tag team match in the future? Shawn Michaels and Aleister Black versus Gargano and Ciampa at TakeOver New York? I have no idea. But that's, again, not how NXT TakeOver went off the air. It just went off the air with Gargano holding his strap, Tommaso holding his strap toward the ringside area. So I don't know what that proves. And TakeOver went off the air. So again, solid show. My expectations are a little higher for TakeOvers now. Again, you can call me spoiled, you can call me greedy, but Triple H made sure that he really delivers with them. And it did deliver. When it was over, I was just kind of like, good show. You know what I mean? And I kind of went about my way. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean about you can't just transfer NXT to the main roster, because you're going to get some damn great matches, but there has to be more. The superstars have to scream more larger than life to me. And that's something the main roster isn't even doing right now. So trust me, I'm not saying the main roster is better than NXT right now. No, I'm even harsher on the main roster. because they're delivering 0 larger-than-life characters. At least NXT has people I can, like, get invested behind, like Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream. You know what I mean? So I'm giving NXT way more props than anybody probably thought I would. But there's more that needs to be established for a pro wrestling fan like myself. So it was good. You know what I mean? I'm not going to come harsh on it. But I've seen so many epic NXT takeovers that I cannot place this one in the top 5. I can't. There's no way. Can you guys? If so, where do you place it in your top 5? If you've seen every takeover, where the hell are you really placing this? Exactly. You were probably at first like, BC, what do you mean it's not in your top 5? But then you thought about it, didn't you? And you thought about all those Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Finn Balor, and Sasha Banks, and Bayley, and all those takeovers. I know, man, it's hard, right? But, you know, it was a damn good, solid night of action, man. And if that sets up the Royal Rumble, then I'm more than happy with what we saw last night, for sure. I gotta shut up about it, guys, because I'm about to answer 100 questions from the Amplified unit in Scene 3. Scene 3, Take 1. Amplified Q&A. Action! Alright guys, so this is going to be interesting. First time I've ever done this in any Amplified Q&A. This is, I guess you would call this a legit Amplified Q&A. I'm going to answer 100 questions right now from my Amplified unit. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to try to do this fast and furious, spitfire, rapid fire, so we can get through them all. And here's the thing, guys. That's not even all of them. This was all just on my last video, the SmackDown review and reaction video from last Wednesday morning, or this past Wednesday morning. And I didn't even get to all the questions. In fact, at 11:25 a.m. the next morning, I had to shut down the questions because we were already at over 100. So these are the 100 that I picked. Again, all apologies if I wasn't able to get to your question. Hopefully, I would like to do something like this in the future. But now you guys see why it's so challenging to do such. There's so many! But that just shows how awesome the unit is, man. So let's have some fun, man. I'll try to get through this as fast as I can. Quick responses. Let's do it. Omar, should Demon Balor make a Royal Rumble appearance against Brock? Yes. He says it's not going to happen. But if you're asking me, yes, I think it should be the Demon taking on the Brock. Chalice, yo BC, I want to see the Randy Orton who handcuffed Triple H to a turnbuckle and made him watch as he gave Stephanie a DDT. That Randy is who should feud with Samoa Joe. Thoughts? Love the show, stay amplified. You know it, and absolutely, that's the Randy Orton I want to see. The diabolical, he has no compassion, no concern for anybody's well-being. He is the legit Viper. Badass to the core, to the touch. And we know Samoa Joe can play that character too. If you have both those characters in full-fledged heel fashion, colliding on a WrestleMania road, culminating at the big show, please sign me up, take my money. Hooded Hawk, what in your opinion does a wrestler need to be the top guy, especially in today's world? Just has to have the it factor. And you always hear people say, what the it factor, but what is the it factor? It's simple. It's a recipe of the perfect ingredients that an individual should have. And if they do, they'll be able to captivate people. You're talking a natural connection with the audience. That is the first ingredient you need to have in order to have the it factor. That's something that's natural, guys. You can't just teach the it factor. A couple of individuals come to mind that were able to be kind of led that way. But still, as an overall persona, they didn't have the full-fledged it factor. That's usually a natural thing within somebody. And they just have this natural connection with the crowd. That's the first ingredient. Secondly, you would have to have an extreme confidence. A confidence that's not just, oh, I think I can do this, or even, I can do this. No, you not only believe you can't wait to get through that curtain to show everybody. You want to rock out your talent and your skills. A captivating aura. Your presence. That's what I mean about you can't teach this. It is an aura from the time you step through that curtain. You are just captivating individuals with your presence alone. Knowledge. Knowledge of who you are as a personality and a character. When you know who you are, you're not discovering yourself like today's individuals, especially today's youth. I'm going away for a bit to discover who I am. I'm going to find out who I am and what I'm about. No, when you know who you are and you know what character you're playing, and usually if you have that it factor, your character is yourself with the volume up times 10. But when you have the knowledge of who you are as a person and a character, when you have extreme confidence, when you have an aura and a presence that is captivating, you are grabbing attention from the moment you enter a room. And you could be in a room with 30 individuals, but you have the most attention on you and you ain't got to say a word. That's the it factor. It's a natural connection with the crowd. That's what it takes to be today's top guy. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing that anywhere in WWE. They're all handcuffed. We wouldn't even know if any of them have the it factor because their promos are so scripted and everything they do out there is to a T scripted. So you can't have individuals being who they want to be or who they really are. So if there is anybody on that roster that has the it factor, we don't know because we haven't seen it. Mustafa, hey BC, big fan here. This is for Q&A, AMP Q&A. How can WWE become the company it once was? Care about what they're doing. Simply put, give a shit about what you're doing. And guess what? You could be epic again. Ultra God, why do you not do live streams of WWE? Wouldn't really know how to be honest. And secondly, I wouldn't want to even jump through those ropes right now. This is a good format for me. I'm doing so many other things, professionally speaking, that live streams are the farthest thing from my mind right now. Setting up something like that is way over my head. We get amplified enough in videos like this. We don't want to go live yet or ever. I don't know if we want to touch that, to be honest. So that's not even on my radar, to be honest, Ultra God. Thank you for asking, but live streams are not even something I'm interested in right now. Maru, sup BC, keep doing what you're doing. You think that WWE is suddenly pushing talent because they realize that AEW or other promotions could take their superstars, considering some contracts are up more sooner rather than later? Absolutely. WWE knows AEW is on their radar, and they have to make changes subsequently to defend their brand. And that's what they're going to do. They know AEW is now lurking, and they're going to make the necessary changes to try to outdo them at every corner. They can say they're not competition. Guess what? They know they are. Already they are. Once you sign somebody like Chris Jericho, you became competition. We already know that. OG Kicks 45 Q&A. What's up, BC? Who do you want to win the Royal Rumble and why? Who do I want to is the question, and I say either Batista or Velveteen Dream. Now, before you get your hopes up, neither one of those two individuals are in the Royal Rumble. Or at least if they are, it's a totally surprise to me and you. But neither are. But if it's me booking this, I got Batista in there or Velveteen Dream. You want to know why, you ask, right, OG Kicks? Batista, I think Batista and Lesnar just speaks volumes for WrestleMania. I think that is an awesome match for Brock. It's finally a heavyweight, right? It's fun to see Brock in there with all the littler guys, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, but let's put a heavyweight in there with Brock, please. And you could even take the title from Brock if Brock wants to leave at WrestleMania, put it on a guy like Batista, and for all you guys that are saying, no, BC, it takes away from a younger talent that could be the next champion. BC, it's another part-timer. BC, it's an OG, it's a veteran. Let's put it on a younger guy. Hear me out. We get the nostalgia, we get Batista for one more run, and Batista always said he wanted his last run to be with Triple H, where we can have him grab the belt at WrestleMania. That's a big, huge last run hoopla for Batista, a championship at WrestleMania. Then he sets up a feud with Triple H. Triple H is not happy with his champion, Batista, and he wants to strap off of him. Batista is not obliging, obviously, and Triple H is forced to bring in outside talent. Wouldn't that be something if you have a heel, Aleister Black, come in and at SummerSlam of 2019 takes the strap from Batista. Batista rides off into the sunset. He gets his one last run. He even got a championship. But now a new, young, up-and-coming superstar like Aleister Black from NXT captivates the wrestling world, including the casual fan and the mainstream media fan, by coming in, being Triple H's henchman as a heel, and grabbing the championship from Batista. We all win. The nostalgic dudes who loves the old school gets Batista for a couple-month title run. And then you guys who love the new guys getting all the accolades, you get Aleister Black. Everybody wins. And Batista gets one last big run. That's my booking, guys. If I was able to get a guy like Batista, I started at the Rumble, a big moment at WrestleMania, and then one of the young up-and-comers drops him to end his last run in WWE. I just love that concept. And then I say Velveteen Dream would be cool because Velveteen Dream wins the Rumble, and then you just set up Velveteen Dream versus Daniel Bryan? Velveteen Dream versus AJ Styles? Take my money, man. I'll even give you fucking bonus. I'll give you a tip if you're going to give me those matches. Blue Elephant Digitech. My question, Amplified Man. Can you predict the winner of the Royal Rumble match this Sunday? Nobody can really predict it, but if I had to go with two individuals that I think Vince is going to go with, Seth Rollins and Charlotte. Those would be the two names I would think Vince is going to go with. The front runners in Vegas, at least. Christina Banks, BC, how would you book Sasha Banks' heel turn for the future? Hopefully it happens at the Royal Rumble. Well, Christina Banks, I gotta be honest, I don't think it's going to. I think her and Bayley are going to go on to win tag straps as faces. But how would I book a Sasha Banks heel turn in the future? I would have her first, obviously, drop Bayley, and then run roughshod through the entire division and be the legit boss again. The legit boss we once knew and loved down in NXT. The legit boss we're starting to see signs of the last couple of weeks with this feud with Ronda Rousey, I can speak. With Ronda Rousey, we've been starting to see that legit boss. But here's the thing. After this Ronda Rousey feud and she goes back with Bayley to be the boss and hug collection connection, is she going to be the boss again? No. She's going to be Bayley's sidekick again, right? It's going to be Sasha's music for 4 seconds. She'll stand at the rampway, and then Bayley's music hits. Bayley buddies fly up, Sasha becomes Bayley's sidekick, and it's Bayley's music the rest of the way. No more legit boss. So that's what I would do. Drop Bayley, give a big fuck you to the crowd, and go on your way as the legit boss, and that's going to be a legit heel Sasha Banks, and that's the best kind of Sasha Banks. Trevor says, much love and respect for AMP Q&A. You mentioned that you have written some books. Could you please tell your faithful AMP unit what some of the books are called and where we can find them? Thank you for all that you do to entertain and keep us informed about pro wrestling, BC. You go out of your way sometimes to do that, and we thank you. Thank you, Trevor. It means a lot. As for the books, I can't tell you guys. The books, I can, but I'm not going to. Those are all under a pen name, guys. A different name. It's a pen name, totally created. And the reason I do that is because I keep all of my endeavors, all of my projects, separate from one another. My acting, I like to keep separate than my wrestling channel here on YouTube. I like to keep my wrestling channel here on YouTube and my acting separate than my authoring and my books that I've written. I like to keep my books that I've written, my YouTube channel, And my acting, all separate than my screenplays that I've written. Everything I do is separate, and it's all different forms of income, revenue, financially speaking, but it's also different forms of entertainment and projects that I like to keep separate because they should be. I don't want everything bleeding into each other. You know what I mean? Some people like to build a brand under all of their projects. That's not necessarily my take on it. And by creating a pen name and putting a different name on those books, it keeps a whole separate aura, presence, and being. And we can let people, you know, think about the creator into which, however they want to. You know what I mean? Whoever that author of whatever book you're reading and you don't have an actual visual, photo, whatever, then guess what? You create that person in your head. I kind of like that idea, and that's entertainment to me. Separate it. And if it's just writing, I like to definitely keep that separate than my acting or my YouTube channel. One day I might absolutely bleed them together, and I might put it all under one brand, but that day isn't today, and I like to keep things separate. I like that, to be honest. It's cool, you know, when you can do so much. I don't want to fucking be egotistical here, but when you could do so many different forms of entertainment, I think it's really cool when you can break it up and put it in different outlets. And it's different audiences for everything. You know what I mean? Because I know if I just mentioned the books, my wrestling audience would go out there and buy a lot, and that'd be cool. You'd make me some good money, but it's not about the money. I want to keep groups separate. And then when the time is right and you guys learn about all the projects that I'm doing, if you want to, because you want to, not just supporting, but because you actually want to read these books or watch the movies that I create, because you actually think they're intriguing to you, then you can go out and purchase them. But when the time is right, Trevor. So I thank you for asking, man. And this would be a good time to plug my books and get some extra income, but that's not what I'm about, and I kind of want to keep that separate. My wrestling clique is my wrestling clique. Silent XVX ABC for Q&A. Do you think the big amount of talent on both rosters are negatively affecting the product and the superstars? 100%. This just sign everyone mentality with no direction is a failure. Because that's all they're doing. Triple H is guilty of this even more than Vince McMahon right now. Sign everybody, and we'll deal with it when they're under our umbrella. We'll find something to do for them once we get them signed. And it never happens. NXT alone is flooded with such great talent, but every takeover can only have 5 matches. So you have even great talent that doesn't even have a match at takeover. A guy like Velveteen Dream. Injuries or not, I'm just saying the guy doesn't even have a takeover match. And I can go on a plethora of people that don't have a match. From Kairi Sanes to Io Shirai's. You're telling me all these individuals don't even have a pay-per-view match. They're being stuck down there in obscurity. And every once in a while, you get to see them on the Wednesday Impact. Sorry, NXT. You get to see them on an NXT Wednesday night show on the network. Wow. And on the main roster, don't even get me started, man. So yeah, all this talent and nothing to do for them. It's almost like a prison for pro wrestlers. You go there to pretty much just die off. Nobody sees you again. Or at least you're definitely not relevant. For Chase, for Q&A, if Charlotte wins, do you think fans will give her the Roman Reigns treatment? Pretty much. It's like when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble at Philadelphia. I'm not saying it's going to be that diabolical, that rambunctious, that almost riot situation, but you're going to get people displeased. And it's probably going to happen later tonight. So, we'll see, right? Tony says, for Q&A, since Becky calls herself the man, do you see her winning the men's Royal Rumble, setting up Ronda versus Charlotte versus Becky? Even though that's probably supposed to be a joke, I would not put that past Vince McMahon, Tony. Herberto, should they continue the Roman push when he returns? It's not about should. They're going to push Roman Reigns when he returns to the moon. Trust me. That Dude Ted, BC, how's Tyler's Day 30 coming along? Much love and respect. Tyler's Day 30, for those of you new to the channel, that is my movie that I am creating, directing, starring in. We started it over a year ago. Any problem or issue you could think of, we experienced it. So we still haven't even finished filming the whole movie yet. We hope to do that by this spring/summer, and then we can get into editing and getting a distribution plan this fall and winter. That is the plan, and we're hoping we can do such. You know me, I have all these other endeavors that I'm doing with the writing, with this channel, and I'm still doing the acting on the side as well. It's a lot. If I just shut everything else off and just focused in on the movie, we could have that done by spring. But it's not fair to all my other things that I'm doing. So I just have to find a way to juggle everything as I have been. And hopefully by the end of the year, man, this thing will become a reality. It's going to no matter what. But we hope that by 2019, we have everything in place, even a distribution deal. Maybe even it's distributed in 2019. I know that's pushing it, but you never know. Matey Topics. Hey, BC, what do you think about AEW? I want nothing but the best for them. I think it's legit competition already for WWE, even though they might not want to be directly right now. But you know deep down within, they want to beat Vince McMahon. They have a billionaire backing them. This is their best chance. And to do such, they better bring entertainment value and not just wrestling match, wrestling match, wrestling match, wrestling match, because we already have promotions like that. There is the New Japans and the ROHs, and there's a reason that those niches do not really captivate United States fans. I call this the United States of entertainment, because you need more than just the wrestling. That's what made WWE the conglomerate company, and that's why WWE is dying a slow death now, is because they just started putting on redundant wrestling match after redundant wrestling match after redundant wrestling match, and they got away from the entertainment outside of it. Just some thoughts. Koichi, BC, what would be your dream booking for this year's WrestleMania? Or at least the main event. I hate to softball this one, Koichi, but I just want a card and a main event that's going to captivate us, that we give a shit about. Just give me that. I don't even want to book the thing. I just want something that we can latch onto, man, and say, hey, I can't wait for this. So I don't even want to book this because I'll just let myself down. Honestly. Team OTK. My question for Q&A is, do you think R-Truth should have been WWE Champion? No, absolutely not. But way more mid-card titles I thought R-Truth should have had. It's amazing to me he didn't have a bunch of IC title reigns, European Championship. Was that around for R-Truth? Well, you guys know what I'm fucking saying. United States Championship at least then. All these mid-card titles, R-Truth should have had some of those. An abundant amount of times, not just once or twice. So that shocks me. But no, as far as the heavyweight championship, no, I wouldn't say that at all. That's, I mean, R-Truth, good wrestler, no question. But I think there was a lot of factors in why you couldn't put him in the main event and have him carrying the strap. A lot of factors. I'm not going to get into them now, but we all love R-Truth. But R-Truth, I'll just stop there. R-Truth is R-Truth. He's a little out there, man, and Vince McMahon would have put his own head through a wall if he had him as his champion. Noob and Company, I got a question for you on Sunday. Who is the funniest Japanese superstar on the main roster? Asuka or Nakamura? Keep up the great work, Amplified Man. Thank you. I would say Shinsuke by far is the funniest on the main roster. If you're just talking Japanese superstars, Shinsuke for sure. Especially when he switched to that heel character. The guy's just phenomenal. But who I would look out for is Kairi Sane. She's down in NXT right now. Kairi Sane has a personality that is just so contagious, and you love to be around her. She's so funny, man, and her character kind of portrays that. You see a lot of her mannerisms and motions. It's a funny, laid-back nature. But you wouldn't always be able to tell because she's so dynamite. She's a little spitfire, and she's so badass. But there's a huge personality and a fun vibe to her. So be on the lookout for Kairi Sane too. She's really funny. Rosie, question for Q&A. Hey there, BC. Will Becky Lynch be a larger-than-life superstar if booked correctly? 100%. Kevin, for Amplified Q&A, if CM Punk signs with AEW, do you think AJ Lee will follow him to AEW? 100%. Derek, hey BC, who needs to win the Royal Rumble for the men and women, and who do you think will win? Who needs to win? Everybody on the roster, male and female, because they cannot depend on booking to get them over, so they need a huge moment like the Royal Rumble. So, to answer that part, everybody needs to win. As far as who I think is going to win, again, this isn't who I want, but who I think is going to, if you were putting money down in Vegas, Charlotte for the women, Seth Rollins for the men. I don't see Vince going any other way. It looks to be he's set in those two avenues. Erica, question, who do you think will leave WWE for AEW, and who would you like to see leave? Who do I think will leave WWE for? Anybody that is able to. Erica, is that, yeah, Erica, anybody that's able to leave WWE, they're going to be on the first ticket out of town. That's who I think is going to. Because they know there's a new game in town that's offering equal money, and one day might be the first company to actually offer healthcare. If anybody's going to do it, I bet you it's going to be AEW. As far as who I would like to see over in AEW, talents like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, competitors like that would do great in a place like AEW. I always said they would do great in a place like ROH. Several of them have already been in ROH and have proven that they're amazing over there. Then they can focus more on the wrestling aspect, which again, there's a huge crowd for that. I just always tell you guys WWE is more than just wrestling entertainment. It's entertainment as a whole. Brendan, my bad. What is your dream match with the current roster? Triple H versus Shane McMahon. I always wanted to see the Ultimate Family feud. And now that Triple H is older, he's no longer that cerebral assassin. He's older. He still can go, but he's older now. So with a Shane McMahon, I think it would be much more of a match now. A couple years back, Triple H was still that cerebral assassin. I don't think Shane McMahon would really have that great of a chance because now Shane McMahon is older. It's not the same Shane McMahon that was taking on Kurt Angle. But now that H is older, man, now's the time with Shane McMahon still thriving at his best, I feel. I mean, his best is obviously back when he was taking on Kurt Angle in those days, but Shane McMahon these days just seems like he's been refound, remastered, and redefined, and I love that. So now you take on Triple H now versus Shane now. That's a dream match for me, man. I don't care if it's at WrestleMania or fucking on a Wednesday night at the local supermarket. Shane McMahon, Triple H. That's my dream match. Schwave, who's more believable to fight Brock, Seth or Drew? Drew McIntyre, but he's not ready yet. Booking hasn't even put him in that position for us to give a shit about Drew McIntyre. We all know he's got the tools and the assets, but booking has to help us out a little bit, man. If he was just to win the Royal Rumble Sunday, then what? Am I supposed to go, wow, Drew and Brock, can't wait? No, absolutely not. Yeah, come on, man. We all know that would be a good match if they just promoted and booked Drew McIntyre the right way. But I would pick that over Seth originally because Daniel Bryan couldn't beat Brock. AJ Styles couldn't beat Brock. Most likely tonight, Finn Balor's not going to beat Brock. What the fuck is... I mean, Seth Rollins now, man? Seth Rollins all of a sudden found the antidote, found the way, found the magic potion. Richard, my question is how can we... Or WWE? Oh, I'm sorry. My question is how can WWE fix the Iconics on the main roster? Well, the perception of the Iconics is that they're jobbers. So if WWE wants to fix the Iconics, you just fix their perception of them, people's perception. If people look at them as jobbers because that's how you booked them since their debut, change that perception. Make them not jobbers. Problem with that, though, is the Iconics are still really green, guys. They really are. Even for diehard Iconics fans out there, you know I'm right. Nathaniel, hey BC, much love and lots of respect for Amplified Q&A. What are your top 5 favorite Royal Rumbles? Too long of a video already, Nathaniel, and this is 100 questions that I'm answering, so I'm only going to give you my favorite Royal Rumble of all time, and that was 1991. That was at a time where the United States was at war. It was the Gulf War, and everything about that pay-per-view led to something bigger for WrestleMania that year. From Macho Man Randy Savage costing the Ultimate Warrior the title, Sergeant Slaughter won the title over the Warrior. That set up a career-ending match at WrestleMania between Warrior and Savage, and it also set up Sergeant Slaughter, the new champion at the Rumble, taking on Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania, and Hulk Hogan was the real American hero. That was his slogan. That was his nickname, the real American hero. Well, we're at war. What better way at WrestleMania than to have your real American hero capture the championship against a Sergeant Slaughter at that time that was a real villainous, evil person. I'll just leave it at that. If you guys can go back to those 1991 pay-per-views, you're going to see 2 of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. The Royal Rumble 1991 and WrestleMania 7 1991. Check those out. Where do you want to go? Chanel for Amplified Q&A. Is potentially turning Alexa into a face a good or bad idea? Bad for now, good for later in her career. Nestor, BC, did you ever visit WWF New York at that time? And if so, did you like it? What Nestor's talking about, and I haven't heard about this in a long time, this was their restaurant. Vince McMahon had a restaurant in Times Square, New York City. It was called WWF New York. And it didn't last long. It turned into a Hard Rock Cafe, and that Hard Rock Cafe is still around to this very day. So when you guys are in New York City, if you're ever in Times Square and you see the Hard Rock Cafe, Vince McMahon used to have that space. That was the WWF Cafe. So to answer your question, Nestor, I absolutely visited the WWF Cafe. It was amazing. I loved it. There was always superstars in and out of that place. When I was there, we actually saw the Big Show. You know, we met the Big Show, and yes, he is that tall in real life, and yes, he is a goofball, but we love him. And we had a great meal, man. I went with my brother and his, I think it was a fiance at the time, or at least his girlfriend at the time, and yeah, it was a great time, man. I didn't even have to spend a dime. My brother bought everyone's dinner. It was just a great time. They had the pay-per-views playing on this big little, if that makes sense, big little Titantron up on a staging area. So they were playing pay-per-views. You had that week's shows also playing on little TV monitors. I loved it, man. So yeah, Nestor, I wish that never left. I would have been there once every week at least. Shakira, hey BC. So my question that I have for the return of Amp Q&A is, what is your dream nostalgic WrestleMania match? Only this time it's for the women. And 2, how would you book the match? There's so many, when you think nostalgic matches, especially for the women. You can go either which way. You can say Trish and AJ Styles. Some people are still really big Nikki Bella fans, and they would say Nikki Bella versus Michelle McCool. I don't know, man. There's so many nostalgic matches you can think of. But what I will do, if you don't mind, I would like to keep it relevant to today's superstars. And a type of dream scenario for WrestleMania for the females of today, I will go back to an earlier thought that I had, and that's Sasha Banks winning the title from Ronda Rousey, which we know is not going to happen tonight. And if it does, I'm going to be the most shocked person in the world. There probably won't be a video tomorrow, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because I'll still be in shock on the floor somewhere. But Sasha Banks taking the title from Ronda, Bayley winning the Royal Rumble match, Sasha and Bayley the next night on TV on Monday Night Raw. Sasha's all happy that she's got the championship. Bayley's happy she won the Rumble. Sasha's looking at Bayley like, once you pick Asuka, or whoever walks out of Royal Rumble with the title, Becky Lynch, once you pick them and you become the champion at WrestleMania, we're both going to be champions. We're both going to have our respected straps for SmackDown and Raw. We're going to own the division. And I want Bayley to look at Sasha and be like, I'm not picking Asuka, or I'm not picking Becky. I'm picking you. I want the Raw Heavyweight Championship for the women. And Sasha's gonna be like, excuse me? And Bayley's like, yeah, is that all right? I just want to once and for all see who's better between us. We've had all the classic NXT matches. Everybody was craving to see us one more time. What better than on the biggest stage? I just have to find out who's better. And Sasha will be like, and she'll be like, is that a problem? Sasha's like, no problem. But the more Sasha thinks about it, it really eats at her. And Sasha ends up going ballistic on Bayley. And that feud that they had over a year ago that we thought was so red hot, white hot, interesting, and then it died down because they formed a love fest for each other, we rekindle that. But this time we set that son of a bitch into overdrive. And this is the most ruthless we've ever seen any female character. That's what that legit boss should be. And it culminates at WrestleMania, Bayley versus Sasha for the championship. Now, again, that's not going to happen, obviously, because Vince has his eyeballs on his prime prospects, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and the people are going to be craving for Becky. But that would be a match that I would book. Damo, storyline continuity flaw. AJ Styles jumped on Vince a few weeks ago. Why wouldn't he just forearm Vince anyway this week? Damo, you're exactly right. And he's referring to SmackDown Live when Daniel Bryan threw Vince in front of AJ and AJ didn't do anything. He stopped. And that caused a distraction. And Daniel Bryan was able to get a running knee on AJ Styles. You're exactly right, Damo. There's no continuity there. You just knocked the chairman out a week before. And on top of that, why isn't Vince that angry at AJ Styles? Is it because that's what he was trying to get out of him anyway? And when he got knocked out, he kind of had that smirk on his face? Maybe. But still, if AJ Styles is in midair, it doesn't matter who's in my way. Daniel Bryan or Vince, you both are getting knocked the fuck out. Good catch there. JB, BC, Amp Q&A, may you describe the difference and importance of entertainment in wrestling and just plain old wrestling entertainment? Okay, so let me see if I'm reading this right. Describe the difference and importance of entertainment in wrestling than just plain old wrestling and entertainment. Okay, well, so basically what JB is saying is, describe the difference between wrestling entertainment and entertainment in wrestling. Two different things. And that's where everybody says, when I say something like, you can't have match after match after match after match after match on Monday Night Raw because you're going to lose the crowd. And some people might think, BC, it's a wrestling show. That's the type of entertainment we're tuning in for. But no, the wrestling is entertaining, or at least we hope it is, no question. That's the main part of the entertainment. But an entertainment show, and what WWE is, guys, it's more than just the wrestling. It's about building those superstars into larger-than-life characters and making and creating phenomenal storylines that captivate us into this feud that we have to see the payoff at the pay-per-view, and we actually pay our money because it's a pay-per-view that we need to see the payoff. Hope it makes sense. And you do that through the larger-than-life characters and the epic feuds turned storylines that we have to see the conclusion. That's where you come up with all the entertainment around the actual wrestling. For instance, back in the day, even before the Attitude Era, the barbershop talk show with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. We all remember when Shawn Michaels super kicked Marty Jannetty and threw him through the barbershop window. That's something that was not in a wrestling ring, but one of the most iconic moments ever in wrestling history. How about when Jake the Snake Roberts had Macho Man Randy Savage tied up in the ropes, took out his King Cobra, and had him bite him on television. Blood coming down Randy Savage's face. They're censoring it. All the kids in the first row are crying. Had nothing to do with a wrestling match, but one of the most iconic visuals we'll never forget in the wrestling world and in WWE. Big Boss Man and Nails. All of their fun storyline, that was outside of wrestling. The wrestling ring, a wrestling match. Nails and his promos over the sound system while Big Boss Man is having a jobber match. Nails actually interfering in a Boss Man match when he debuted. The Mountie and the Big Boss Man storyline. Storylines like that outside of the ring. These are all iconic moments. Funeral Parlor. How about the Funeral Parlor, guys? That was a talk show that all the iconic moments would happen outside of wrestling, outside the wrestling ring, and outside of a wrestling match. When they locked Ultimate Warrior in a coffin, Or when Hogan was a guest and they jumped Hulk Hogan. So much happened at the funeral parlor. Undertaker would be hiding in a casket. Man, all of this stuff, guys, is what I remember. I just named everything that happened even before the Attitude Era. Don't even get me started on the Attitude Era with the beer trucks, the Corvettes, the barroom brawls. People waiting for each other in the street, in the parking lot, supermarkets. Everything I mentioned was pre-Attitude Era. So don't tell me you needed the Attitude Era or that was just one era in pro wrestling. No. WWE has always been based on entertainment as a whole. The wrestling matches were supposed to be the payoffs. Now we're just seeing match. And what happened is WWE failed to create any larger-than-life superstars or give us any storylines we care about. So now every Monday and Tuesday, you're getting the same wrestlers, 50-50 booked, by the way, in there every week against each other. Nothing is captivating us anymore. And our standards have gotten so low that we have seen Seth Rollins take on Drew McIntyre a couple of handfuls of times in the last 6 months. But every week they go out there, you still have the crowd going, "This is awesome!" But if you knew what the hell you were watching, you would know that those are the same moves they've done to each other a million times. This is basically the same match, just put on replay. And Vince is hoping that the audience just forgets. Just watch the wrestling match that they're putting on. Sometimes you don't want to watch the same movie a million times. You want to watch the new movie that's in theaters. Give us something new. Give us the entertainment. That's the difference of today. Today's wrestling, you have companies like ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they put on wrestling matches. They're not known that much for the entertainment outside of it. They're known for their matches inside the ring. But in the United States, ROH and New Japan Pro Wrestling isn't that popular. And you know why? It's not that people haven't heard of it or don't know about them or haven't seen a match or two, at least. It's because they know there's not the whole format of entertainment under that umbrella. And they're going to lose interest from wrestling match after wrestling match after wrestling match after wrestling match. It's just the truth. There's a ton of indie fans that just love that. But we're talking WWE, and I think what a lot of people are wanting WWE to be is just wrestling match, wrestling match, wrestling match, wrestling match, and then they wonder, why is WWE failing so bad? Why is the product suffering so bad? It's because there's no other entertainment outside of the ring. You need that type of shit. That's the difference. Where do you want to go? Patrick, BC, here's my question. Would you like to see AJ Lee return in the Women's Royal Rumble? Yep. That's a simple one-word answer. You're damn right I would like to see AJ Lee show up. Alright, so moving on, guys. Carnut015. Question for the podcast, BC. What pay-per-view would you bring back and how would you do it? Well, I love In Your House. You guys remember those? Before you had Vengeance and Backlash and all these pay-per-view names, TLC, you had just one pay-per-view outside of the Big Four. And I guess you could throw King of the Ring, Big Five. You had one pay-per-view named for 3 or 4 more that year, and they were all called the same name, In Your House. I miss those. But if you want to get more serious, I would say I would bring back Halloween Havoc, because I just miss that. That was a WCW pay-per-view. It came around every Halloween time, obviously, Halloween season. And it brings me back to all the good feels, man. The lights were dimmer. You had the big, long WCW ramp to the ring. There was all the Halloween decorations and setup at the rampway. You had pyro back in the day, but the feel was just awesome. In that time of the year, you want a pay-per-view like that, man. It was just an epic feeling. And WCW's Halloween Havoc always delivered, too. Man, I miss that. WWE Hell in a Cell just doesn't have the same feeling to the Halloween season. Doesn't. And I think they moved it up anyway, so now it's like kind of out of the Halloween season. I don't know, man. I would bring back Halloween Havoc for sure. Those are the days I remember. Sting, old school Sting. Face Sting with the colorful face paint, colorful fucking tights, the streamer jackets. Big Van Vader. The real fucking devious bad dude, Jake the Snake Roberts. Remember with the black glove? Yeah, that was the shit, those Halloween Havoc days. Ken, BC, love your channel. Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble matches. I kind of alluded this, or came right out and said it actually. I think Vince McMahon's money and Las Vegas's money is on Seth Rollins for the men and Charlotte for the women. I think those are the front runners. Taryn, Q&A, what would you think if Ember Moon throws Charlotte over the top and wins the Rumble? Thanks, BC. I would love that. That's what I would think. Shanta, BC, what WWE superstars do you look up to the most? Nobody these days. I don't. And it's got nothing to do with age. You could be 80 years old and still look up to somebody or somebodies. More than one person. But there's nobody on the main roster now. There's no one larger than life anymore to look up to. You can look at things they're doing right. I mean, even if you're a kid, I don't know who they would look up to these days. There's no one larger than life. So maybe when you're a kid, you look at people that are doing really good in the world, and maybe those are people to look up to. But for me, absolutely nobody. Back in the day, I would say Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. And I would say these names because it goes back to what I said about the it factor. Those characters, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior, guys, they were all, that was who they were in real life. The volume was just turned up a little bit, obviously, when they were in front of the camera, but that was them. It's like what Stone Cold always said. It was just him turned up 10 to 10. That was Stone Cold. Stone Cold, the character, that is him in real life. It's just that when he's in front of the camera, the volume is turned up. That's what Hogan was. That's what Warrior was. That's what Savage was. That's what Ric Flair is. So it's easy to get captivated and look up to son of a bitches that are real like that. Other people might call them crazy, lunatics, whack jobs. I look at them and I'd say, they're real. Those are some real son of a bitches, man, and they are epic. Those are the ones I would look up to. They weren't afraid to be who they were. They knew who they were, had extreme confidence, had an extreme aura and presence, and they captivated everyone. Sound familiar? It's exactly what I said earlier about what the it factor is. These individuals checked off every box. Those would be my larger-than-life superstars that I can actually look up to. Aaron, what's up, BC? How are you? I was wondering if you were to bring up any NXT superstars, who would you bring to the main roster? Love your videos, man. Much continued success. Thank you, Aaron. For the women, I say it all the time. You guys know how high I speak of Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, even Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair. All of these females have what it takes to make it in the main roster. Would they be given the time of day? Would they be given good booking? Probably not, but they have what it takes. I would love to see that, or would I? You know, I'm kind of hesitant at how they would be used. For the men, you guys hear me say it all the time as well. Velveteen Dream, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, even Aleister Black. These are superstars. Man, if people knew what they were doing today in WWE, they would be legit bona fide superstars on that main roster right now. Instead, they're twiddling their thumbs in NXT. Go figure. Jose, hey BC. I've always wanted to know your thoughts on Teddy Hart and Jack Evans. Great talents. Great talents. They were putting on NXT caliber matches before NXT was even a thing. So that's major props to both individuals. DJ, hey BC, for AMP Q&A, what did you think of Backlash 2018, aka the pay-per-view that defined WWE in 2018? I already forgot about it, to be honest. So, and I think that was in May, right? So that's the month I kind of took off from YouTube as well for reasons that won't be discussed. Thanks, YouTube, assholes. But I was away for YouTube for several weeks around that time too. But it was a forgettable pay-per-view because I don't remember it. It must have had an Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax match, I bet, for me to forget about it. Tyshawn, big fan. Alexa Bliss or Sasha Banks? Who's hotter? Sasha. This name is not taken. Who should face Asuka, or who should Asuka face at WrestleMania if she is the women's champion at the time? I would say Ember for wrestling purposes, Ember Moon. But there is no one for storyline purposes. Because if Asuka keeps the championship, say somebody like Ember doesn't win the Rumble, who on that SmackDown brand, at least, is going to captivate us for a WrestleMania match against Asuka? Carmella? No. Either one of the Iconics? No. Who else? Zelina Vega versus Asuka? That's going to be your big WrestleMania Championship match? We love Zelina, but no. Lana? No. Mandy Rose? No. Sonya Deville? No. Naomi? We love Naomi. Maybe. But they put her in obscurity. Now you have 2 months to make everyone feel like she is now heavyweight championship / main event worthy? I already know that. A lot of us know that. The casuals and the mainstream media fans are going to be like, what? Naomi out of nowhere? Well, you did it with Asuka. You might as well do it with Naomi. But the truth is, Naomi is the only other name on that SmackDown roster that I would give a fuck about taking on Asuka at WrestleMania. Naomi's the only one. And I don't see Vince doing that. So, I don't see how Asuka can walk away as champion after tonight. I don't. Not saying I know what's going to happen. She damn well could walk out the champion. And again, if she doesn't, then all of this was for a 1-month title reign. So none of it makes sense. But that's WWE's MO anyway, isn't it? But I don't know who takes on Asuka. I would like to say either Ember Moon or Naomi. Problem with that is everybody's a face and you're going to have to really work hard on your storyline. That's a problem because WWE hasn't worked on their storylines in what seems like 10 years. Where do you guys want to go? We'll go Steve-O, 316. Which WWE superstar, male or female, do you think has the chance to be the next larger-than-life character if McMahon and booking lets them flourish properly? Several names. Don't see it happening because Vince and WWE's booking won't let them flourish properly. But I would say Elias, Drew McIntyre, Velveteen Dream. These guys have what it takes to be larger than life. We just don't give a shit about them. Velveteen Dream we do, but he's in NXT. Who knows what's going to happen when he goes to the main roster. As far as Elias and Drew McIntyre, right now they're so redundant and played out and stale because of their 50-50 nonsensical booking. I don't even care about them now. They went from 2 superstars that could be something special, even larger than life if properly booked, to 2 superstars I don't even give a shit about. That's tragic. Honestly. Ian, when Roman comes back, how would you book his heel turn? Same night. Same night. You have him start off Raw with a good promo. Everyone's going to be giving him a 20-minute ovation. Eat it up. Play off the big face Roman. Thank you, everybody. Blah, blah, blah. Lead to the back that night, even if it's like Seth Rollins in the main event or whatever. I would love to have Triple H having a problem with Rollins or whoever the character is at that time. That's going to be the main face. Triple H has an issue, and Roman Reigns comes out, and he solves that problem for Triple H. And he attacks Seth Rollins, and it's a beatdown. Or whoever the character is, the top face at that time, and it's a beatdown. And Roman Reigns, it's clear, he's working in cahoots with the Authority. I would love to have somebody with Roman too. A little stable already formed, or forming. Tommaso Ciampa, maybe the Undisputed Era from NXT. Utilize a little bit of an authority, and now Roman is going to be the leader of that. In the same night, everyone was welcoming you back. You spit on them all. And then eventually you have Roman say, you all booed me for so long. You hated my guts. You couldn't stand if I was just winning a match. And now something tragic happens to me, and now all of a sudden you all love me? You talk about phony. You are the definition of it. Imagine that type of a promo. Hey, if I'm booking that shit, book that shit, BC. Michael, Amp Q&A, do you honestly think WWE will book the 4 horsewomen angle correctly / great? I'm not really interested in it. I hear you, Michael, man. WWE hasn't given you any reason to give them the benefit of the doubt in any storyline. But I do feel this way, and that is that it should be booked as the biggest storyline ever in women's history. Because you have 8 women there that are some of the biggest stars in women's history. For pro wrestling, and WWE especially, and more specifically. So, there's no way you book... I mean, if you book this wrong, if you fuck up this booking with those 8 females... And by the way, I don't mean Ronda Rousey's... Hold on. Shayna Baszler... No, I can't even put her in that category yet. We love Shayna. But as far as the other 2, guys, I'm not putting them in that category. Don't worry. What? They're putting the other 2 in the greatest category ever of women's wrestling? No. I just mean when you look at Sasha, when you look at Becky Lynch, when you look at Charlotte, some would say Bayley for what she did in NXT. When you look at Ronda Rousey and what she's meant to pro wrestling already in 1 year and what she's meant to mainstream sports for years, you would have a lot of the biggest names ever in wrestling history. I didn't mean all of Ronda's 4 horsewomen. I just want to clear that up. People will be like, BC said the whole 4 horsewomen of Ronda are epic women's history fucking participants. No! Hold up, man. I haven't bumped my head too many times in cement walls. Not enough times yet, anyway. I still got some times left in me. But there's some heavy hitters in there, man. Legit. And even Shayna Baszler is nothing to look away from. Nothing to blink at. Shayna Baszler will kick your ass if you let your guard down. So you can't fuck this booking up unless you're WWE. So I totally hear you, Michael, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be. We're hoping it's going to be. I understand it would be much better suited in an NXT atmosphere, but the truth is, it's too big of a match. It's too big for NXT. You would have to have it right here in the main roster, man, and that's why they waited. And, you know, the seeds were planted in NXT, which was fun, but you got to put this on the big stage if you're going to have it. Mr. Michael Law, Q&A, how do you see WWE's tag team division changing in the months to come? I see it only getting worse. Legit. Edgar, hey Ant-Man, my question for Q&A is how do you think WWE could make the Universal and Heavyweight Championship belts meaningful again? Thanks. I know I sound like a broken record, but build them up to more than just 50-50 book superstars, create meaningful storylines, and make us care. If you have the champions of the world built up and only winning, no 50-50 booking, they're in captivating storylines, and you're making us invested in and care about them, then that's how the titles are going to be important. It's simply put, the title doesn't make the man or the woman. The man or the woman makes the title. You know, but lately, I blame everybody. The title, the booking, the man, the woman, whatever the fuck, it ain't working. Umar, hey BC, for Amplified Q&A, have you ever considered being a pro wrestler? Thanks. Umar, I've absolutely been in the ring. I've done my training. I've done my bumps. I had an old football injury where I snapped my elbow in half, fractured it, and dislocated it all at the same time. To this day, it actually doesn't fully go all the way down, but it actually helped me in bar fights because it helped my power. It's a long story, but it helps in the fighting world, so I'd be great as a pro wrestler that way. But as far as landing on it awkwardly, that motherfucker will pop out of place, in which case I gotta pop it right back and immediately ice that shit, or some shit. I forgot what they told me. But the point is, it's really not good for pro wrestling. So I learned quickly that, you know, maybe this wasn't going to work out. And it was okay with me because I had all these other entertainment ideas and ventures that I wanted to get into. So I was okay with it. I was glad I had the opportunity to get in the ring, to train, to take the bumps, because I knew it was going to help me down the line if I ever wanted to get into the pro wrestling business. With this channel, I've started to actually already do that, obviously. And it helps with my knowledge. Why should we take BC seriously? Why should we give a shit what he's saying? Well, for the longest time, you guys have known I'm a creator. That's what I do. The people that know about pro wrestling are just creators like myself, so they're no different than me. On top of that, yes, I've been in the ring. I've took my bumps. I've trained. So I know exactly what's going on in and out of that ring. So that's just more reason to believe me when I say, trust my words. I know what I'm talking about. But that is the extent of actually wrestling, Umar. Could I absolutely get in the ring tonight, tomorrow morning, and tussle around with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks? Absolutely. I'll pass all waivers. I'll pass all physicals. These were just things that I knew I wanted to do, and I also knew that, you know, the elbow wasn't tip-top 100% to do 300 days a year. So if I got in pro wrestling, I always looked at WWE to be top dog and where I wanted to get to. And I knew if I did that, I would have to wrestle 300 days a year. That's not something that I wanted to put my elbow through. And so I went a different way. And I'm glad I did, man. Everything worked out great. And who knows, one day I could still be back in this, be with WWE. And I always said, if I ever choose to work for WWE, it's going to have to be with a much different system than they have now. I need to be able to speak my mind. I have to be allowed to flip out and not just get fired, but know that it's passion. I have to have some type of creative control, and I have to have people believe in me to help change their company. That's the only way I'll go and work for WWE or any company. Otherwise, I'm all set. I'm fine. My bank account's set. My home life is set. I'm good, man. Pro Wrestling Advocate. What's up, BC? For Amp Q&A, what's your top 5 feuds from the Attitude Era? Much love and respect, brother. Keep up the awesome content. Thank you, Pro Wrestling Advocate. Top 5 feuds from the Attitude Era? I can't do that because they were all badass. You could pick any one. Rock versus Mankind. Mankind and Undertaker. Steve Austin and Mick Foley and Dude Love and Mankind and Cactus Jack. Steve Austin and fucking The Rock. Rock and Triple H. Austin and Triple... Man, you would need a top 20. There's so many. Terry. Hey, BC, can you please bring back Amplified 2.0? Sorry, Terry, man. Amplified 2.0, he's not going to be around for a long time. He is... He went away for a while. I'm just going to leave it at that. There's no more 2.0. Not for a long time, anyway. JB, how's it going, BC? For Q&A, who's in your top 5 trash talkers of all time? This could be just in the WWE bubble or the entertainment/combat world in general. Top 5 greatest trash talkers. Well, let's keep it in pro wrestling. You would have to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and Ric Flair. And let's throw a female in there, Becky Lynch, if you're talking about online. Those are some of the 4 trash talkers right off the top of my head that I would love to have right behind me if we're in a fucking talk trash battle. And outside of the WWE bubble, I say Johnny Bananas from the Challenge. MTV Challenge. Alright guys, so let's get into, I like this one. The Notorious MAC. What's your favorite WWE theme song? One for men and one for women, BC. Don't know if I have a favorite, but I'll let you guys in on a little, fun little story on how I go about my gym day. On my way to the gym, when I am walking to the gym, I will play Goldberg's music first and foremost over my headphones. It'll be Goldberg's theme music. Doesn't matter. WWF's version, WCW's. Doesn't fucking matter. I actually like WWF's version a little better than WCW's. I know that's not the popular opinion. A lot of people like the WCW one. And sometimes I will crank that one as too. But I will listen to their Arena Effect versions. So you have to go to like Goldberg Arena Effect, and it just amplifies it a lot more. And nothing gets me more pumped up walking to the gym than Goldberg's fucking theme music over my headphones. And then when I get to the gym, when I actually walk into the gym, I switch that sumbitch to Brock Lesnar's theme music. Because now we fucking bounce and we ready. Now we're ready to take on the entire gym. And Brock's music really just gets me amped. Again, Arena Effect version. And when I actually start working out, I go right into Stone Cold's Disturbed version. Remember Disturbed where they actually sang over Stone Cold Shattered Glass? And Disturbed did an amazing version of it. That is how I start my routines off. And then once that Stone Cold Disturbed version is off, then I go into what others would call normal gym music, I guess, right? We'll pump up some fucking Metallica or some fucking 80s Coke rock. And we'll jam out. But those 3 theme musics, man, I love starting my gym routine, gym day off with those 3. And when I leave the gym, here's another one. I love this one. When I'm leaving the gym, I love to play The Rock's heel theme music. Remember Hollywood Rock? That theme music, Arena Effect version, as I'm leaving, because nothing gets me, I have this feeling of fulfillment, and I'm the ultimate asshole when I'm leaving the fucking gym. That's the theme music I love hearing. So those 4 songs I listen to a lot, because I go to the gym a lot, obviously. So I don't know if I have a favorite, but those 4 for sure. And now if we're talking women, though, I didn't put any women in there. If I have a favorite version for women, a favorite theme song, it's obviously Sasha Banks, man. That shit starts playing, And on top of that, how you know I love Sasha Banks, man. Nothing electrifies me more. Captivating right from the theme music alone. The legit boss. So, yeah, that's a fun question, man. Let's go. Guys, we are already legit. We've already done an hour worth of amplified Q&A, and I still have a few pages left as we try to reach 100 questions. So I gotta try to go faster, guys. I'm gonna try, damn it. We still have the closing credits, a few more news stories, too, after this. Fucking A, man. I might leak right into the Rumble. We might have to cancel the kickoff show and just gonna be the Amplified man. I'm gonna be your preview kickoff show. Tori, who do you think should be the first women tag champs? Should be? I would say Trish and Lita, right? To pay homage to two superstars that helped get us to where we are now. So that would be cool if Trish and Lita was somehow able to get those titles. I think it will be Sasha and Bayley. And I also think the Iconics would have been perfect for it. They're just not ready. Nor have they been booked in any way to be tag team champions. But they're also really green. So the Iconics are not ready. I just mentioned the Iconics because when you think of a team that has been together before even an announcement, or even before we even thought there was going to be an announcement of women's tag titles, the Iconics would have been your personification of a tag team. They're just nowhere near ready, so it looks like it's going to be Sasha and Bayley. But I would have loved to have seen Trish Stratus and Lita, man. And back in the day, it would have been the Bella Twins, because they were the personification of a tag team. So, who knows? Maybe one day the Bellas do cut. Tori, I know you're a Bella fan. I'm always catching heat from you every time I talk shit about the Bellas. I say that with nothing but love. Also, I see you snuck another one in here. Yeah, gonna try and sneak this question in too as well, LOL. I got you, Tori. I'll knock down another one for you. How long do you think Ronda will stick around in WWE? Well, she signed a 3-year deal. We are hearing rumblings that she is going to take time off after Mania. And rumblings that she wants to start a family soon, have a kid. That's 9 months up front, and then, of course, 3 months to be there with your kid at least. So that's a full year. So even though it's a 3-year contract, I don't think it's going to be straight, but I do think we're going to see a lot more of Ronda Rousey after Mania, even if she takes time off, either just a few months or a year to have a kid. She's coming back, and we're going to see Ronda Rousey fulfill, I believe when it's all said and done, 3 full years. Whether it's 2 separate contracts, but 3 years in total, or just the original 3-year deal, I have no idea. But you're going to see much more Ronda Rousey. Bonnie, have you heard anything about Roman, the big dog? I know the truth will come from you, the man of wrestling. Thank you, Bonnie. I have heard from people just like you, other wrestlers that are coming out and saying they've spoken to Roman, and he's in great spirits. He's looking good. He's sounding good. We've even seen pictures as late as just a few days ago of Roman Reigns posing with fans at certain events, and he's looking great. So that's awesome to see, man. Much love always, Joe. Keep getting better. Carlos, great show, and my question for Sunday would be your true thoughts on this year's WrestleMania. Don't hold back. Ask me after Sunday. Ask me after tonight, honestly. I can't answer that right now, Carlos. My honest opinion of this year's WrestleMania, I can't totally bash it yet. We're going to have to find out after Royal Rumble is off the air, and then we'll have a better inkling of where they're going with a lot of talent. And then I might bash the shit out of this thing. Maybe they shocked us in a good way, and I'm like, hey, this shit intrigues me. Brian, hey BC, who is your favorite to win the Royal Rumble matches, man and women Royal Rumble matches at Royal Rumble pay-per-view? Thank you, Brian. A lot of Royal Rumbles in there. I answered this a few more times already, so I'm not going to go over it again. Brian, if you've watched to this point, which you better have and not skipped around, you know exactly who should be winning the Rumble, men and women. But thank you, Brian, for asking. Michael, hey BC, for Amp Q&A, I know you don't get political, but I thought I'd change things up. Do you keep up with politics? If so, are you Republican or Democrat? And what do you think about Trump's performance since his inauguration? Well, I'll tell you exactly what, Michael. I learned a long time ago, never talk politics. It'll only lead you into nothing but trouble. I do find it, however, funny that everybody thinks Donald Trump is the Antichrist. That's hilarious to me. I have never seen people bitch, complain, moan, and cry more than today's generation about a president that is not even close to being the boogeyman that they say he is. That's hilarious. As far as what side I'm on the amplified man side. I was brought up and taught to be a Democrat because that's what my family was. But then I started to see that Democrats are the biggest bitches, whiners, and complainers. So then I thought maybe Republican. But then I looked at Republican and said, hey, they're really out for themselves as well, and they want to get all the pieces of the pie to themselves. But then I went back to the Democrats and I said, but they want everyone to just split their pie, even if they haven't earned it. Everybody gets everything for free. But then I went back to the Republicans and they're keeping... So I learned a long time ago 2 things, I guess I should say. Don't talk politics, and number 2, always think for yourselves. Don't get brainwashed by anyone else. It's okay to have beliefs from both sides, and then have your own dog in the fight. Have your own standpoint. Tristan, do you have any plans to bring back amplified booking? That shit was dope as fuck. Thank you, Tristan. Appreciate it. Amplified booking is not going to make a return anytime soon. A lot went into that. A lot of creative aspect went into that. A lot of creative ability went into that. That at the end of the day, honestly, it wasn't paying off because WWE was putting on such shit that I was easily winning. I was easily kicking ass. And it got to the point where why am I doing all the work when WWE is just throwing together shit over 5 minutes at a coffee table and I'm spending 45 minutes to an hour on this shit? No, I know it was fun for all of us, but if WWE is not even going to put in the time and effort, and I'm putting in more, and I have all this other shit that I have to do during my day, it didn't make sense anymore, man. Maybe one day, though. We'll see. Hub City. Hey, BC, I hope this makes AMP Q&A. What top 5 things would you change if WWE gave you the power, and can you start doing retro reviews on Attitude Era pay-per-views? No. I have way too many other things going on. It's amazing I even have time to do these videos for you guys. There's no way I can go back to old Raws, old pay-per-views anyway, and start doing retro reviews. That's absolutely not. I don't have time for that. As far as my top 5 things I would change if WWE gave me the power, I would bring back Pyro. I would start dimming the lights more. I would add new intro music to the opening sequence. I would take over the creative department. And I would have less pay-per-views. Those are the 5 things. Lindsay, who do you honestly think will win the Women's Royal Rumble this time, BC? Love and respect. Nice arms. Well, thank you, Lindsay. Must be talking about the pictures that I post on Instagram. Well, you know, thank you. I'm sorry. Where was I? Oh, Lindsay, you had a question. I'm sorry. You're making me blush over here. Who do you think will honestly win this year's? I honestly think it's Charlotte. It's not who I want, necessarily, but it is who is most likely. DeAndre, question BC, who do you see leaving WWE and going elsewhere to other companies? Anyone that can get their foot out the door, honestly. Tariq, question BC, do you like John Cena? I do. He comes off as phony, and that was always the disconnect for me, and I know a lot of other people. He always came across as just phony. In the way he talks, and he talks like this, and, Nikki, can you please remove your hand from the table? Please put it on your fork, and please eat in such a way where you do not have a body part on the table. I feel that is disrespectful, and that is in violation of code number 562, as written before you walk in on the main dining entrance. You know, it's just, everything is just really, it's odd. Nobody talks like that. So I would say, yeah, but I do like Cena, man. I have no beef with him at all. He's a good dude, he seems. LG Wilson, BC, regardless of results, how would you book Sasha Banks after the Royal Rumble? Like a legit boss. Like she was in NXT. Like she's been the last 2 weeks. And then amplify that even more. Dexter, what is the story behind the Mankind character, Amplified Man? I don't know. I didn't create the shit. I don't know. But I know that McMahon wanted unique. Mick Foley wanted different. Mankind was born. Mr. WrestleMania, Sup BC. Question, Roman will obviously be a face if when he returns. However, if you were booking, would you consider a heel turn for him in the future? 100%, no question, without a shadow of a doubt. One Aranzo, BC for Amplified Q&A. How do you feel about the way Mickie James has been booked? Ever since her return, she hasn't received any crowd reaction. Much love and respect. I think she was always supposed to be enhancement talent when she came back, and I don't think she was supposed to stick around a long time. She ended up sticking around a long time, and they kind of didn't have anything for her. They didn't know where to go, and that's a shame because Mickie James can still today go more than any of the younger, or most of the younger women superstars coming up. Mickie James could still either go toe-to-toe, if not even better than them. So it is a shame. I love Mickie. You guys know that. I would have brought her back. Man, I would have put her in epic storylines. I would have thrown her the championship for a good 5 or 6 months at least. You know, and in the time, build up superstars around her still, but still have Mickie as a focal point. There's no reason. She's still one of the most beautiful ladies on the roster. She's still got one of the most banging bods, and I know that doesn't matter in wrestling, BC. Don't talk about the women's bods. But amazing shape. Looks beautiful. Can still wrestle and go toe-to-toe with any female in that division or around the world. And you're right, they don't use her at all in any significant way. Royal Demons, BC, will you ever work with JD? Yes. Kara, I have a question. What is your dream matches this year? Mine is Seth versus AJ Styles. Hey, that's a damn good one. Sign me up for that one, Kara. But I also like Gargano versus Daniel Bryan, Velveteen Dream versus Daniel Bryan, Gargano versus Styles. These are matches that intrigue me. We just got to get some of these NXT talents up and running. Emil, what are your thoughts on Stephanie McMahon taking over WWE Creative before and after Paul Heyman left the company? Well, that left us with the company we have today, so I think I just answered that question. Brandon, hey, what's up, EC? A good question for you. Or, no, got a good question for you. When Roman Reigns returns, how would you book Roman as a heel if you would work for the WWE? I want to hear your thoughts, and if you would, or, I'm sorry, thoughts, and if you, my favorite YouTuber, I think, or maybe you are my favorite YouTuber, thank you, Brandon. Much love and respect. Thank you, man. I talked a lot about Roman already turning heel a lot in this one, but I will say that I would absolutely turn him heel, and I would put a faction around him, whether it's a young faction like Undisputed Era, or maybe Tommaso Ciampa, or some young kids, or you could put AOP and a Samoa Joe around Roman Reigns. That would be badass. Scott, question BC, what were the epic tag teams that you have seen growing up, and what tag teams would you like to see formed this generation of superstars? Well, that's the problem. I don't want to see any teams formed for this generation. They should either be teams up front, you know what I mean? Like when they get to NXT or when they get to the main roster, I want to already perceive them as a team because that's what they are. These days, we're throwing people together because they have nothing for them. So you get teams like Gable and Rude. Fuck that, man. I want a real tag team, and that goes hand in hand with your first question. Teams that I used to see back in the day were Demolition, the Rockers, the Hart Foundation, Harlem Heat. These were teams that came in, the Legion of Doom. They came in as already tag teams. They were brothers already. Doesn't have to be blood-wise. They were brothers no matter what. Now you're just getting people thrown together because it's clear WWE doesn't have anything for them. Those are fake teams to me. Those are phony teams. S. Larson, my bad. S. Larson. How would you book the MMA Horsewomen versus WWE Horsewomen match? Like it's the biggest women's feud in the history of professional wrestling, because that's what it would be. Or at least that's how it should be booked. Boss Nation Powers, BC for Q&A. If there is a chance for Sasha Banks, do you think she'll join AEW? Not anytime soon. She'll joke about it. She'll imply it. She'll leave hints on her social media like she's already doing. No time soon. Vince ain't dumb enough. He ain't losing her. Trust me. Joe, Amplified Man, won't bore you to tears with a paragraph. Long question. What are your top 5 wrestlers of all time? Easy. I say it all the time. Savage, Warrior, Hogan, Austin, Big Boss Man. Christopher, hey there. I would like to know people's favorite. Okay, so not just mine. Hey, if you guys want to comment, that's fine. Christopher wants opinions. I would like to know people's favorite Royal Rumble. Mine is 2007, Christopher says. 2007 was a decent one from what I remember. For me, I already answered it. 1991. Feel free, guys, to put yours down below. Amanda, the Dorito Queen. All right, Amanda. I'm so glad you're bringing back Q&A. Well, you're damn right, here I am, and I'm glad you're a part of it. My question is, who would you have from the past, male or female, superstars to return at the Royal Rumble? Much love and respect. Hopefully this isn't a paragraph long. Don't worry, Amanda, you came under the paragraph fucking rule book. So everyone knows I hate questions that are in paragraph long format because I'm like, get to the point. Because my answers are going to be long enough as it is, so reading a whole paragraph, I just know. So thank you, Amanda. You came in under the limit. That's good. As far as your question, old-timers I want to see come back. I want to see AJ Lee for the females. I want to see Batista for the men. George, another great show in your arsenal. SmackDown was a good show, so he's talking about SmackDown. Thank you, George. I'm glad you liked that review. How did WWE drop the ball on Tessa Blanchard? She's killing it on Impact Wrestling. That is a definite botch by WWE. Tessa Blanchard should be in there on the main roster right now today. Young B, what group of superstars, male and or females, would you want to see in a new kick-ass faction or stable? I think I speak for everyone. I don't want to see any female stable right now. We already got the horsewomen feud that we're going to have eventually. I don't need a bunch of women screaming together. No, thank you. As for the men, I just mentioned it a few questions ago. Maybe Roman, Samoa Joe, and AOP together as a unit. That'd be pretty kick-ass. Where do you guys want to go, man? Eric, BC, maybe you could make a podcast about YouTube experience and your YouTube experiences. Like overall, from zero to hero now. Well, thank you. I wouldn't say I'm a hero now. But I did come from nothing, and I did garner thousands of people to come to the channel. So I guess I'll be your hero. No, I'm playing, Eric. What the hell's the question, man? You're making me blush already over here. It's no secret it's interesting listening to you. So that would be a great listen. I thank you, Eric. As far as a podcast dedicated to just how YouTube works, how I work with YouTube, my YouTube experiences, there's no doubt that would be entertaining because I would be amplified because YouTube has pissed me off so much. And it's such its own world. Like, from when I started YouTube to right now, all the things that I've learned, man, maybe one day I will make a whole scene just dedicated on that. Not an entire podcast, but I think that's a good idea, Eric, for a whole scene. But I'm going to save that for later on in our ventures. Kilowatt Kid, Amplified Unit, always here. Also, my question, how would you book Ember Moon, either from her debut or right now? Because I would honestly book her to win the Rumble and go on to Mania with the right build, of course. Yeah, I would have built Ember Moon. Forget WrestleMania, forget championships. The first thing I would have done with Ember Moon is showed the world who and what she is, which is a legit badass, a powerhouse, a high flyer, a ground technician, an all-around elite wrestler who's got an abundant amount of passion and fire within. And she's a damn legit threat in this business. Instead, they threw her in obscurity, and nobody takes her seriously. And now it's going to take a while to try to build that back up even to even keel, and then you're going to have to put it into overdrive to make people believe she's going to be a champion and worthy of WrestleMania matches. It's pathetic. It's criminal how they worked and did dirty to Ember Moon. There's so much time. We're going to do some rapid fire, getting to know BC type questions now. We are on question 92, guys. I just answered 91 questions. It took me over an hour and 15 minutes. But now we're going to get to the rest of these from question 92 to question 100, a little get-to-know BC rapid-fire questions. Favorite food, pasta and clam sauce. My favorite music, 80s Coke rock. In other words, Def Leppard or fucking Van Halen or fucking Bad Company or fucking, who else? I'm going to draw a blank now, man. These are all my bands. 38 Special, man. All those 80s Coke rock. Guns N' Roses, Metallica. I love music back in the day where you could just have a beer, chill out with your buddies, and listen to good music. Music today is trash. It's absolute garbage. Favorite movie? Dazed and Confused. Favorite television show? Sopranos for old school, and nowadays the MTV Challenge. Favorite color? It used to be green because I was a fucking, still am, what am I used to? Green Bay Packers, huge Green Bay Packer fan growing up, especially. So green was my automatic favorite color. But as I started growing up, blue was just calling my name. So it went from green and I changed my favorite color to blue. Do human beings even do that? Has anyone else ever changed their favorite color from the time they were a kid? I might be the only one. But it's blue now. Favorite drink from Starbucks? Lattes. Don't give a fuck what kind of latte. Everything from vanilla to hazelnut. I've done mocha. I just love lattes. Now, when it's summertime and it's hot out, I will switch it up every here and there, and I'll do frappuccinos. Love frappuccinos, man. Put a little bit of whip on that shit. Now I'm craving that. I can't wait to fucking go get it. I'm going to double fist before the Rumble, I assure you. What else? 5 things you have to do when visiting New York City. Home, bitch. 5 things you got to do if any of you guys visit NYC. You got to do the Statue of Liberty tour. You actually get on a boat on the East River or Hudson, wherever you want to board, and you go around the Statue of Liberty. It's more toward the east side, so I would board from the east side. And you get to go around the Statue of Liberty. And if you're on a specific tour, you get to actually get off the boat on the Statue of Liberty Island along the East River. It's amazing. So do that. Walk the Brooklyn Bridge. Walk the East River or the Hudson. And then walk the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, if you want to walk the Brooklyn Bridge, you're going to have to be on the East River. Walk the entire river. What that is, guys, is think of Manhattan as an island, because that's what it is. You get to actually walk around the entire island. There's the west side, which is called the Hudson River, and then there's the east side, which is called the East River. And if you look across the East River from Manhattan, there's Brooklyn. Depends on where you're looking, actually. You have New Jersey, and then you have Brooklyn. Or actually, there's fucking the Hudson, and then you have New Jersey. It's a long story. New Jersey's over on the other side. But you got Brooklyn that you can look over to. But you can walk the entire island. And then when you get to the Brooklyn Bridge, you can actually walk over the bridge. And it is an amazing experience. I love doing that every now and again. So Statue of Liberty tour, walk the Brooklyn Bridge. Broadway show, no doubt. Shell out the extra couple $100. Go to a Broadway show along Broadway. It is amazing. They're all incredible. I've seen so many of them, probably all of them. And every one of them is crazy. You got to get a picture in front of the Empire State Building. The thing is really tall, so you want to just stand in front of it and put your camera really low and try to get the whole son of a bitch. That's always an iconic shot. And you want to visit Times Square if you're visiting. If you live here, you're going to learn. Do not go to Times Square. Way too crowded. It is a tourist magnet. But if you are a tourist and you're only in New York City for a week, or if even, you want to go to Times Square. Once you enter there, you're in a whole nother world. It is amazing. Do you have any pets? I do. 2. I got a little tiger cat. That's like literally like a tiger. He's a tiger cat. He's got the stripes, the orange stripes. He's got a white bundle of fur right here. White little fucking feet. He's badass, man. His name is Tigger. And he's almost 20 years old. Can you believe that shit? My Tigger is an amplified badass, man. He's almost 20 years old. If you're on my Instagram, you've seen a picture of him and my other pet. My 1-year-old, just over 1-year-old, German Shepherd, Dakota. And this dog's badass, man. If you even walk by the apartment, this motherfucker's gonna blow you up and get amplified. So Tigger and Dakota. One is my cat, he's almost 20 years old, and the other is my German Shepherd, just over a year old. And question 100. We did it, guys. Question 100. Place I want to visit that I've never been before. China. I would love to go to China, and one day soon I'm actually going to. I'm already kind of making pre-plans, I guess you could say, to go to China in the near future, without question. And that's it. 100 questions. I hear helicopters above the apartment. I'm sure they're doing fireworks right now. There's streamers, balloons. The whole world, NYC, is blowing up right now. 100 questions. It's the most we've ever done. We went almost an hour and a half. I need to catch my fucking breath, but I can't, because up next, we have more rapid-fire news stories heading into Royal Rumble. I call this the closing credits. Let me just get some coffee real quick. Time flies when you're having fun, man. Just like that, over 3 hours of a podcast comes to an end. This is End Credits, where I usually deliver more rapid-fire news stories within the pro wrestling world, But truthfully, we went over 3 hours, so the time for talk is over. It's now time for the Royal Rumble. If you watch this podcast in its entirety, then we're just a few hours away from the Rumble. If you caught this podcast a little later, then it might be Rumble time right now. Either way, we suspend the questions and the uncertainty that we had for WrestleMania. We suspend that. And we're all going to find out when Royal Rumble goes off the air tonight. We're all going to have a much more crystal clear vision of Vince McMahon's vision for WrestleMania this year. And I'm telling you guys, tonight, so much rides on it. It's either going to captivate us or frustrate us, but it's going to be big. I feel the men and women are going to go out there and try to outshine each other, try to outdo each other, try to put on their A-game, try to steal the show. And in doing that, hopefully it creates an electric pay-per-view. I know the atmosphere is going to be electric. They're in a baseball stadium in Phoenix. This is going to be a WrestleMania-esque atmosphere. The only thing that could sabotage this pay-per-view is Vince McMahon and his booking. Again, the time for talk is over. No matter what, when Rumble, you better pack your bags because the Royal Rumble, when it ends tonight, we're all taking a long road trip together. The same vehicle, the same means of transportation, we're all taking the same road trip, and it's the road to WrestleMania. Whether you like tonight's show or not, whether you like the way WrestleMania is shaping up or not, nobody can jump off this vehicle. We all started this together, we're ending it together, and we're going to WrestleMania together. Bottom line. So have your bags packed, because after tonight, whether we love this show or not, we're on the road to WrestleMania. We're either going to be captivated tonight, or we are going to be frustrated. It's going to be a long, frustrating road to WrestleMania, or it's going to be a fun, exciting, awesome road to WrestleMania. It's one or the other, and we're all going to find out which road we're taking tonight. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll be watching from minute 1 to minute 0 when it goes off the air. Is that fucking to the end minute? However you want to say it, I'll be watching this thing in its entirety, and I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I thought of it, what I felt, what I thought of it, the ins, the outs, the goods, the bads, the fucking uglies. I'm going to amplify these fuckers. I'm not giving any mulligans. This is one of your big 4, and this is the one leading to WrestleMania. There's no time for mulligans. You bring your A game. You bring your A show. It's Mania season, baby, and it all starts tonight. Amplified man, holla at your boy. Peace, cause he's out. For now, be motherfucking C, saying check you. Enjoy the show, guys.